It's time for Producer Emily's College Football Corner. Take it away, Producer Em.
All right, y'all. I think that everyone should definitely know where I'm starting today. It's probably the biggest upset of the entire weekend, and it's UVA over UNC. And you're wondering why I'm playing Odd Long Sen, but it's because UVA's song we sing after every touchdown and score is the good old song, but it's to the tune of Odd Long Sen. So that's why.
They play the New Year's Eve song when you score touchdowons?
Yep. We all have our hands around each other.
I'm genuinely like, what? That's an odd choice.
I think
why
they
not
just took
Frosty
the
the Snowman.
They took the tune, they changed the words, so the words are not what Odd Long Sen is.
Sure.
But I don't know why.
Pledge allegiance to the flag. What are you doing?
But
well,
UVA
just won.
I feel like popping champagne and getting ready to go to the Rose Bowl every time I hear that song.
Yeah, but
great win for your Hoos, Em.
Yes, it is UVA's first ever road.
3, 2, 1.
It's UVA's
happy new touchdown.
It's UVA's first ever road win against a top 10 opponent in school history. It's
what the hell is North Carolina doing?
It's their first top 10 win against a top 10 opponent since 2005 when they beat FSU. And some great things from this is one, I couldn't see it because it was on the CW and I could not get it to stream here, so I had to listen to the.
It was on the CW?
Yes, it was on the CW where they have Live Golf and
I was
ACC
going to say
football.
Live Golf, Family Matters reruns, and UVA football.
And by the way, they cut out of Tony Elliott's post-game interview to go to a rerun of a sitcom. So some great things from this game. One, Mike Collins, the running back for UVA, who was shot in the shooting against UVA last year, he scored 3 touchdowns. So he was an integral part of this game, and it's great to see him out there doing what he does. 2, the ref cam sealed the game for UVA. So CW has ref cam on like all the refs' chests, it looks like, and there was a ref right in front, and the game ended on an interception. So Drake May throws an interception to a UVA guy. It looks like he might have bobbled it a bit if you're having the wide shot, but the ref cam on the guy's chest gets the full thing, doesn't bobble it, catches it, and it seals the game for UVA in North Carolina, Chapel Hill. And again, this is kind of like an ACC thing, but it's always UVA or Virginia Tech that like to stick it to UNC, and like when UNC is doing really well, just takes them right down.
Well, they finally had that football program cranked up again pretty good, and then UVA had won. 10. That was their second win of the season.
Second win of the season,
right?
William & Mary came the week before,
right?
So they're bad. UVA is bad.
That's what I'm saying. So it not only knocks North Carolina out of the ranks of the unbeatens, it knocks them out of the top 10. It's the proverbial terrible loss because this is it hurts everything about it. It's
FSU is still fine. They're going to be.
They'll be good, and they're really good, by the way.
Yes.
But it's this is just one of those things where it's not. It's a little bit like SC losing to Arizona. Had they just not only did you lose, but you lost to a team that you're supposed to destroy.
Exactly.
Good for you, Em.
Go Wahoos.
You need to get the CW. Like, I don't know, maybe this is a reason to sign up for cable.
No,
I'll
you do know you work for a cable company, right?
I do.
Yeah.
I have ESPN Plus. I have ESPN Plus, and I'm a subscriber.
I was so bitter about that when ESPN Plus came out. They were like, because they gave it to us for free for like a few months. Then after that, they're like,
they
pay
still
up, buddy.
do give us
a year, no? I think so.
Well, you have to make the choice, I think, between.
No, you actually don't anymore.
You don't? You get them both?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So there you go, Sleek.
I have my cable subscription, anyways.
I probably have. So do I. I have whatever there is. I have it.
Yeah.
I have DirecTV. I have all the streamers.
Except Max, which you were asking for somebody else's.
I see this.
Did you get it or no?
No. This is how quickly I will change my habits.
Okay.
Right. I went to go watch an old episode of The Sopranos with Michael, my son, and I clicked it like, oh, you need to re-enter your credentials. I'm like, I don't have it. I will never click on it again.
I'm going to back at it tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I can't.
Oh, you got your event?
Yeah, today.
Yeah, where are you going tonight?
Oh, yeah. So, by the way, let me take advantage and talk to all you Niner fans out there. Meet me today at 5 p.m. at the Hollywood Park Casino. Yeah, there you go. Where you'll have a chance to win $1 million, by playing our Monday
Million Dollar Mondays
contest. Yeah. So come out there. Let's paint the town red again. I'm gonna host a watch party. So anybody Niner fans, they're gonna take on the Vikings tonight. So I'll see you guys there at 5 p.m.
There'll probably be some Steeler fans still lurking around the parking lot because when I left last night at around 6 when we wrapped them, give or take. It was a sea of black and gold.
Okay, so
it was all Steeler people.
Is it by far Niners most for any of the games?
There's 3 that really stick out.
Okay.
There's 3 that stick out far and away. The Niners, the
Cowboys.
Steelers, and the Bills. Those are the 3. The Cowboys had a ton too. I'm not saying the Cowboys didn't have a lot of fans.
Buffalo, you said the only problem was you said the colors.
It was
right?
blue.
Yeah.
So, but it was so many of them, and they were all. The Bills Mafia is not a quiet group of individuals.
No.
They are very engaged. So those were the 3. So let's talk about this. The Rams' kicking game was bad. The Rams, game plan was like you said, Slee. The Steelers are not fun to watch. They just want to win. They're not trying to entertain you. They're trying to win a game, and the Rams kind of fell into that trap. It got ugly in the second half. They couldn't get anything going. But I said this to you a couple of weeks ago. I think there are 2 criticisms of Sean McVay that are fair. The first criticism is his reluctance seemingly to run the football even when the run isn't necessarily producing a ton of yards, right? To just keep people. And they ran it 30 times yesterday.
No issue there.
Not a problem.
Which, by the way, is not in his DNA to be that patient and
especially with 2 backup running backs, and not even backups. Like you're talking like 4th and 5th string guys that have just gotten
had
there.
18 his own.
Darrell Henderson was great yesterday. So there's that, which was not an issue yesterday. And the other thing is, and this goes back to when he was a brand new head coach. He's not a brand new head coach anymore. This is his 7th year in the league. They mismanaged their timeouts about as poorly as anybody in the entire. It's Emily and I make a joke about it. There's a timeout in the first quarter by the Rams virtually every game. There's a timeout in the third quarter.
Not good.
Virtually every game.
In such a bad place, too. It's not like this is a critical play that you need to call. It's just he calls it randomly because he wants to get his perfect play in.
So, by the way, I get it. I understand that. I guess it's just weighing. I mean, I always appreciate towards the end of the games where you're looking at, all right, how many dots are there?
Sure.
Because you know that the coach that has 3, I feel like, all right, he's got his stuff together today. He knows he's strategic. He saved them. I might not even use them. Some may say you could have used them earlier. Yeah, but just in case. And he didn't put the.
So he used the one in the third quarter that, to Emily's point, was not like a game-changing moment where you had to use it. They struggled to get plays in at times. So anyway, they burned one in the third quarter, and then they started firing through them with about 3.5 minutes to go. Well, the play of the game came just before the 2-minute warning. Kenny Pickett tries to sneak it. He's clearly short. Like, this wasn't even on a replay. You're like, oh, in the moment, you're like, it's not even close. He was a good yard short of it. Bad spot by the referees. You know me. I'm not a blame the referees guy. That was a bad
awful
call.
Spot.
Bad call.
No, it was awful spot.
But you can't challenge it because you're outside of the 2-minute warning. You don't have any timeouts left. And it was just kind of the culmination of the mismanagement of those timeouts. And like we talked about a second ago.
That's on him.
When you don't have a margin of error, when everything needs to be buttoned up, you can't make mistakes like that. And they made a bunch of mistakes like that yesterday. Sean McVay's timeout management was a big part of the reason that they lost that game.
Yeah, I was just going to say that this kind of goes to, and I listened to McVay after the game, and he was talking about how somebody's asking him about the spot. And what he was saying, look, it didn't come down to that. We had our own self-inflicted wounds that we already created for ourselves, that there were a lot more issues that were going on other than that one play, but that one play is also on him.
Sure.
And I think that's the point, is refs are going to make mistakes. Refs are going to have idiotic spots. Refs are not going to see certain things. But that's the whole point of being able to challenge. And if you take that away from yourself, you're now digging yourself an even deeper hole in a critical situation.
This is a different type of Rams team. Like you look at the Sean McVay era, right? Mm-hmm. You had so much horsepower offensively. You had Todd Gurley was there. You've got Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp and Brandon Cooks. You've got these guys that are able to score. You have Odell Beckham Jr., right? You have this incredibly offensively dynamic team where, hey, look, if you make a mistake and we don't have a time, fine, whatever. We're going to cover it up. We're going to score 28 points no matter what.
Yeah.
They don't have that this year. On defense, I got Aaron Donald. I got Ndamukong Suh. I got Michael Brockers. I've got Von Miller. I've got all this talent where, hey, we're going to get a stop even if we don't. We'll get the ball back. It's not true anymore. They've got some, but not to that degree. So if your margins get narrower and narrower and narrower, silly stuff like timeout management becomes a big deal. You can burn a timeout when you got a guy scoring 35 points a game.
Yeah.
You don't have that anymore.
And also, so in the game too, Mike Tomlin had a very bad challenge. He's
bad at that too.
He's bad at challenging. That's his big Achilles heel, is that he uses challenges poorly, and it didn't bite him in the butt because the Steelers capitalize on mistakes of others more than the Rams capitalize on the mistakes of Mike Tomlin burning a timeout by losing a challenge. So there's still that's the difference between, I don't know if it's luck, if it's construction, if it's something else, but the Steelers tend to be on the right side and the Rams tend to be on the wrong side.
Okay, I want to ask you a quick question, because when the Rams beat the Seahawks in game 1, that, I think, it did it for a lot of people. It wasn't just you, but there was a lot of people. It's like, hey, maybe this team's better than I thought they were going to be. And even in some of their losses, they were good. The way they played San Francisco, the way they played Philly, you're like, hey, they're in these games. At that time, you thought, at least after the first week, I think they're going to make the playoffs.
I thought, honestly, if it was after the second week. It was after the Niners lost, because I'm like, all right, that's the best team in the league, theoretically, the Niners. And they were right there.
Yeah, it's a game. But this is why I want to ask you. You also thought this is a important game. If you're going to go get to 9 wins, if you're going to figure out how to get to 9 wins, today as we're sitting here on a Monday morning, and they lost that game against Pittsburgh, and they are now 3-4.
Yeah.
And you look at the rest of the schedule that they have. By the way, the NFC 3-4, you're in the mix.
Very much
3-3,
so.
you're in the mix. Like, it's not like, I don't think we're going to see teams running away over the next 3, 4, 5 weeks.
No.
But because they lost that game yesterday, you still feel like they're going to get in the postseason, they could squeeze in, or no?
No, because while 3-4 isn't out of it, you're going to have to get to 9. I just don't see a world where 8 wins get you in. 8 and 9, I guess theoretically can, but somebody's going to finish on the right side of 500. Not by a million games, but they're going to do it. I don't see 6 wins for them on the remaining 10 games. I just don't see it. They're not going to lose all 10, but they're not going to win 6 or 7 of them, I don't think.
Sure.
And I'm glad you brought up the Seattle game. That's the only time all season they played 2 good halves. That's it. In the 6 games since then.
And they played a better second half, but they still good both
They
sides.
did, and they had a better second half last week against Arizona. The first half not so good, second half much better. But they haven't put 2 halves together since week 1, and we know week 1's weird. You know, you never know what it's going to look like in that first week. And Seattle, pretty darn good team. They've only lost a couple of games along the way too, but Rams haven't looked like that since week 1 of the season.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Tampa's 3-3, Commanders are 3-4, Saints are 3-4, Vikings are 2-4. I think these next 2 games, and I think it's very doable. Win at Green Bay. Green Bay, I get it. It's at Green Bay. They're not that good of a team either.
No.
They're sitting at 2-4. They've lost 3 games in a row.
But neither are the
Dallas
Rams.
one, and I don't disagree with you, but what the Rams, I think, are is the definition of average, where sometimes you're going to lean a little bit worse than average, sometimes a little bit better than average. The Cowboy game, I'm not expecting anything from. But that Packer game,
I hope so.
That, to me, is your season of whether you're still going to be in the hunt for the playoffs or not.
Those games that you mentioned, they do play the Commanders. They do play the New Orleans Saints. So they get a chance to play the teams that they're bunched together with.
That are all having the same conversation every week like we are.
They got to win those, but you're also going to have to find 1 or 2 somewhere else that you probably aren't looking for. Ask Slee coming up next, 877-710-ESPN if you want to do your Ask Slee on the phone. Of course, you can send them to me, to Jorge, to M on Twitter as well. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. 1-800-9-million. That's the number. That's the number for Sweet James. That's the number you call if you've been hurt in an accident. 1-800-900-0000. 1-800-9-million. Because when you make that call, Sweet James goes to work for you. He makes sure that you get the medical care that you need. He makes sure that your car gets fixed, and then he goes to work on the insurance company to make sure that you get what you're entitled to. The insurance company, they're going to offer some piddly little settlement, right? Sweet James knows what the case is worth. He knows what justice looks like, and he's not just going to take the insurance company at their word. Guess who else knows that? The insurance company. That's why they get the best settlements. That's why they win at trial 98% of the time. And those are the big ones. Those are the ones that can change your life. So if you're hurt in a car accident, a motorcycle accident, a truck accident, whatever it may be, call Sweet James. 1-800-9-million. That's 1-800-900-0000. And, of course, you can go online at sweetjames.com. If you get hurt, call Sweet James.
The return.
Big news, Laker fans. John Ireland here. You can now stream every Lakers game on the ESPN LA app. Don't miss a second of the action with Michael Thompson and I on the call. Plus, all your live and local Lakers talk every day in the palm of your hand.
You're one tap away from everything Lakers.
You could even win Lakers tickets.
Download the ESPN LA app.
And bam! Download the ESPN LA app at the App Store and Google Play.
Return of $1 Million Mondays.
$1 Million Mondays.
Your chance to win $1 million from 710 ESPN.
Listen every Monday this football season for your chance at $1 Million Mondays.
Presented by Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play.
Listen every Monday to 710 ESPN. When you hear the cue to call, be caller number 7. Give us your Super Bowl prediction. Both teams and the final score, and you could be winning $1 million this football season on LA's $1 Million mega sports station. 710 ESPN. Corner. Learn more at harrissocal.com. Let's get to it. Ask Slee right now.
They did well on Twitter today. We've got a lot of good Ask Slees that we're going to get to in a second. But if you call with your Ask Slee, you go right to the front of the line, especially if you're calling from out of state. DJ in Idaho with an Ask Slee. What's up, DJ?
And this is insane. First of all, thank you guys. You guys bring smiles to my face every single day. Jorge, what's up, fool?
What's up, fool?
Hey, Sliwa, I went to Granite Hills 2011 alumni.
Go Eagles.
My man.
We went to Estrada's every day over there on 2nd Street, right down the street from what used to be Hollywood Video. What was your hangout spot during high school?
Okay, so if we're talking
Home Depot with Jim.
no, that was San Diego State.
Oh, okay.
This is high school.
Okay.
If we're talking food-wise, there's a couple. We used to go to Rita's Mexican Food, which was also on 2nd Street in Hamishaw, that area. We used to go to Los Panchos, which Los Panchos has a few locations down there. Also had one over by San Diego State. Those were the actual food places that we used to go to.
Was it a hangout place or just a place to go grab a bite?
Go grab a bite.
Yeah.
Predominantly, you're going to just grab food. Where I ended up spending so much of my time just going to friends' houses, right? Like everyone lived within, and I got a Granite Hill story, and I know I texted you about it, and I'll tell a little bit later. But a lot of that was just you're going to a friend's house to go spend some time at. So that was a lot of it.
Very quickly, did you guys have a place, like if you're out on a Friday night in high school and there's not a party at somebody's house, like you knew people would be at place X. Like you just knew that if you went through there would always be people hanging out, and then you could go find the next thing. Did you have a place like that?
Oh yeah, Nogales Burgers or Pizza Supreme in the same little
Exactly.
in the same little shopping center.
Did you have one?
It's not really how it really rolled. It was kind of like, it was really suburban. You can't really walk anywhere. So it's not really any place that everyone all kind of went to.
There was always a parking lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had Taco Lita in Arcadia, which was this little taco shop. It's been there since like the 40s, honestly. It's not very good, but it's kind of famous. And And if it was 10 o'clock and there was nothing going, that's
just
where
go
you
there.
There would be people there that knew where to
Something
go from
else,
there.
Nogales Burgers, because the bag of fries was like $1.50.
Yeah.
Dude, you get a whole bag with ketchup, you're good.
Taco Lita, get your sauce situation figured out. They had the best, that crummy taco sauce that was perfect, and they're out. They've been out for years.
Well, I don't know why everyone would go to the Jack in the Box parking lot. And I'm like, why are we here at this Jack in the Box parking lot? Yes, I'll get 2 tacos and a Jumbo Jack.
Christopher Holmes writes, anyone drinking out of a to-go coffee mug after 3 p.m. is really drinking alcohol. True or false? Hashtag Ask Slee.
It's false because I have definitely drank coffee.
True.
At 5 o'clock, I've drank coffee. I think I was telling this at the movie theater last week. I drank coffee. It was late, man. I struggled after that. But how about this? On Friday, I had a moment, Trav. I don't take naps.
Right.
Don't take naps. I was so tired on Friday.
Like on principle, or
you
just aren't tired in the middle of the day?
I'm just not tired in the middle of the day. No other reason for it. Or I don't find myself just chilling on the couch at 3 o'clock.
Pretty nice.
I
like when they happen by accident.
Okay, so
those are the best ones.
This one was a little bit by accident, but because I was so tired, like I'm going to go to Starbucks and get just a short cup of coffee, and I'll go from there. I went and got my short. While I'm drinking it and I'm sitting on the couch, next thing I know, I fall asleep. I have coffee right to my right. I'm taking sips of my coffee. It didn't matter. I still fell asleep.
Here's the little tell, Christopher. You can tell in the to-go coffee mugs, if there's a straw in it at any time of day, there's booze in there, right? Like just go to a Little League baseball game or soccer game or something, and mom and dad are using a straw in their to-go mug.
Yeah.
That means it's a screwdriver or tequila sunrise. That's what's happening.
All right, so I have one from Artie Moreno Sucks, and he says, I'm 35 and I'm going bold, and so should he go bald or go with the Dr. Phil look? Hashtag Ask Slee. And he also wants to be cheered up because he's a depressed Angel and Charger fan. So sorry for you.
Ooh,
wow,
tough
that's
draw.
Really tough one. Actually,
the Dodgers and Rams
is it much better
right now? No.
Padres and not
really.
having a football team? I don't think that's any better anyway. I would. Okay, here's my theory on it. If you're going bald, and there's certain type of bald. There is Alex Caruso bald, where it's like, this looks really bad. Shave your damn head. I don't care how old you are.
Right.
Okay? Like, it's time to shave your head. There's other people that can probably like right now, if you shaved your head, that would be a little weird to me. I think you have enough to kind of continue holding on as long as I got a buddy that always
close. I saw a picture of myself from the rear.
Yeah, but you could do things. Like you could do things to manipulate it. Me, I had a Manu Ginobili going on the top here. I was solid on the sides and the back, but the top not very good. The sunroof was open. Okay? So with that in mind, I decided to make an executive decision. So I think in this specific instance, you got to look in the mirror and say, I look ridiculous, or if you look ridiculous, shave your head.
I just want to add one thing to this.
Yeah.
Whatever you're going to go with, just lean into it, right? If you're going to go with the Dr. Phil, Captain Steubing, ring thing, that's fine, but just keep it trim, keep it nice, and let it go. Like, it's the long-haired bald guys that are the most troubling. If you want to shave your head, perfect. Susan won't let me, or I would have done it a long time ago. She's adamantly opposed. Your head's too big. You'll look ridiculous. Okay, thank you.
Okay, but I want to emphasize one other thing. I'm not talking about the sunroof with like just the one. I'm talking the sunroof all the way back.
All the way back, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Basically a convertible. That your side windows are up, but the top is down. That's what it is. Jorge.
From Big E, you have an extra ticket to a game and you invite a friend.
Okay.
What is the proper way for your friend to repay you? He buys you beer, he buys you some food, or maybe an item from the stadium. A poncho. What is it?
Okay. I think this is what I would do. So I'm going to put myself in this situation. Let's say cousin Slee and I are going to a Padres game. He's like, hey, got us 2 tickets. By the way, that's never happened. I'm the one that always has the tickets, so just let me make sure I emphasize that one here real quick.
Let's go, cousin Slee. Get on your game.
But let's say that he's like, hey, I got 2 tickets for you. I'm going to pay for parking, and I'm going to pay for some food and a beer inside. After that, I think we're in fair territory.
You're very generous because parking is sometimes more than the ticket.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to a Rams game, you're going to get tagged.
Well,
with
that's why
fees.
Rams game I'm not. Yeah, nobody's paying for parking there.
Yeah, Dodger game is $35-$40. That I guess that's a lot.
Going to a Rams game, I have
2 beers is $40.
Yeah, true that.
Going to a Rams game, I have to like replenish every account that I have. I gotta make sure that
buy Apple stock and hope it goes up.
See, I have friends that I take them to like Lakers or Kings, whatever it is, and then they're like, "Hey, I got the beer, I got the food, we're good. You got us the tickets, so
that's perfect.
But I don't have to ask for it. You feel me? Like it's like they already know the deal. So
there are rules to the road.
Yeah, I have to lean into it. I'm like, hey, maybe you should be at the front of the line when we're paying for something. I gotta like scoot him up a little bit.
$1 Million Mondays are back on 710 thanks to Hollywood Park Casino. Listen all day today for your chance to win. All you have to do is give us your Super Bowl prediction. Both teams in the final score, and you could be winning $1 million. And just for playing, you'll get 2 tickets to a game at SoFi Stadium. $1 Million Mondays on 710 ESPN, presented by Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play. USC season is? That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710
what's up, Niner fans? Join me, producer Jorge, at Hollywood Park Casino Monday night at 5 p.m. for Monday Night Football as our Niners take on the Vikings. And you'll get 3 shots to win $1 million on our $1 Million Monday contest. And just bring your ponchos, bring your flags, bring all your swag, and let's go, baby! Niners, Niner gang, baby!
In Lee, a Granite Hills High School Eagle
Go Eagles
alum.
Home of Ryan O'Coin and Brian Giles.
There you go. So Friday night, I think I had mentioned this to you. I was trying to kind of figure this out. Helix High School, which Helix High School is, think of the top high schools here in Los Angeles. That's kind of what Helix is in San Diego County. Reggie Bush went there. Alex Smith went there. There's a lot of good athletes that have gone out of
Bill Walton,
that's right. Went to Helix as well. A lot of good athletes. So
Rich Har.
So they have dominated high school football down in San Diego. So Granite Hills, number 4 in the county, 8-0. Helix, number 3 in the county, 8-0. And the game was going to be in El Cajon at Granite Hills High School. So I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm not going to be in like this big rush, but at some point I'm going to go to the game. I'm going to watch a few of the quarters. So I get there about second quarter. And this is 2 minutes from my mom's house, where I grew up and everything else. So everything's super close. And Granite ends up, I'm going to kind of just speed up with the story here, but Granite goes up, they go up 30-13 on Helix. Game's not over. Helix kind of, all right, score here, make it 30-20, so now it's still interesting. Some questionable, like, kind of time management, as you see in every type of coaching, right? Helix ends up tying the game with 12 seconds left, 30-30.
Ooh.
Okay? And I think I've mentioned this to you. The coach of Granite, I used to coach in rec ball at Kennedy Rec Center, Kellen Cobbs, who has basically completely changed around that program in high school. Okay, 30-30, they go to overtime. Number 3 versus number 4 in the county. 30-30. Helix gets the ball first, score a touchdown, kick the extra point, 37-30. Granite gets it. They score a touchdown on the first possession, 37-37. Granite now gets the ball again the way they do it. Third overtime is when they start doing the 2 point. You got to go for 2. Granite gets the ball. I want to say first possession again, scores again. So they go up 44-37. So Helix is down a touchdown. Helix gets the ball. They scored. They had one dude. I don't know where this running back is committed to. He had over 200 yards, 4 touchdowns. They had no chance to stopping this guy. He's a senior as well. Helix scores 44-43. Helix says we're going for 2.
They go for 2.
So Helix decides to go for 2. Part of the reason why I think Helix went for 2, last year, Helix lost to Granite 46-44 in 4 overtimes.
Jeez.
This is what these two schools have done over the last 2 years. Helix runs basically the wild, or they're going to use the running back as their quarterback, and he's run the ball. Everybody knows the play. The running back's already got 4 touchdowns. He's going in, gets it, starts going on the outside, kind of turns the corner, and there's one dude, I think it was probably a corner. I think he's either the corner or the safety for Granite Hills, just sizes him up, hits him at the 1 yard line, and Granite wins by 1.
That's awesome.
So they win 44-43.
Did you rush the field?
You know how I do it. Everything. I rush for everything.
I can see you out there. You're the only one out there. You're jumping up and down. That's exciting. They're fun games.
44-43.
Yeah.
And now Granite's still undefeated, 9-0.
No, hopefully they don't do the thing where after that big game, and you know how that goes.
We got Grossmont, I think, coming up this weekend. Lincoln Carlsbad undefeated down there. We got a lot of work
You're
done.
a high school football expert. I dig it. USC, back-to-back losses. They lose in Notre Dame by 4 touchdowns, and then they get beat at the buzzer by a field goal from Utah in the Coliseum. And their season, I know Lincoln Riley is talking about this, and I'm going to play this for you because he says you can't script this college football stuff, but I think this script is written, and it's written in ink.
Locker room's, pretty torn up right now, as it should be. I've had two tough losses in a row, and obviously how any of us scripted this, but you can't script it. It's college football. It comes down to little things here and there, and we haven't quite played clean enough, here the last couple of weeks to take advantage of it, because we have played very hard. The guys really sold out. We got a lot better this week in practice, and again, our fight cannot be questioned. We got to play better. We realize that. Also important for us to take stock of, we still sit in a very advantageous position in this conference. Some big opportunities coming up. There's a lot left that's going to happen. And if we'll continue to fight and prepare the way that we did this week, we'll have our chances.
I'd love to know what advantageous position he thinks he's in. Washington has no losses. Oregon has 1. Utah has 1. Oregon State has 1.
First off, that's disrespectful to look into the details of what he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of teams ahead of him that have fewer losses. You can script some of this stuff. You can script that Utah is going to beat USC. They beat them 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
You can script how they're going to beat them. They're going to beat them by just being a better football team. Than Utah is. Mm-hmm. They don't have better football players up and down the line, but they're a better football team. Like, Kyle Whittingham has been at Utah for about 600 years, and they play exactly the same way every single season. They get a bunch of 3-star kids, not the 4 and 5s that these other teams are getting. They put a ton of guys in the NFL because they leave better than when they got there. And they play for a long time. They stay in the program for a long time. They get better. They get stronger. They get more physical. And they grind you up.
And this is without Cam Rising.
Right. Well, they shut him down for the rest of the season.
For the rest of the year.
But this is a perfect example of USC's got all of these guys that are winning awards and they're on TV commercials, all this stuff. And that's great. You got good players. Good for you. But when it comes down to what Lincoln Riley was talking, a play here or a play there, Utah's going to win that battle every single time just because they're a better team than USC.
It's no surprise. What happened on Saturday, really for me personally, it's not a shock. We were talking about this about a week, actually after they lost to Notre Dame. And then the question was, well, how many losses do you think that they're going to have?
How many? How many do you think? So are they going to lose 4 games? 5?
4 sounds about right. Listen.
Yikes.
Listen, it's nothing that happened on Saturday, I think, was a surprise. When Utah goes up 28-14 and Lincoln Riley brings them all the way back and they take a 32-31 lead, that almost is not a surprise. It's arguably the most talented, gifted player in all of college football doing what he does. And was it also not a surprise that Utah found a way to go end the game and kick a field goal?
Not even a little
and listen,
bit.
there was a penalty. There was the quarterback for Utah on was it third down? I can't remember, but clock is ticking, gets 25-plus yards on a scramble, and next thing you know, Utah's in a position to win the game. All year long, we've watched USC. They're telling us we are not good enough to compete in the Pac-12 as far as a Pac-12 championship. They're clearly not good enough to be one of the Final Four teams to make the college football championship. They told us that against Arizona. They told us that against Arizona State. They told us that against Colorado. They've played in games where they're telling you this isn't even the cream of the crop talent at all in the Pac-12, and we can't hang with it. By the time they finally played a good ranked opponent, they lost by 4 touchdowns at Notre Dame. The Utah loss is not a surprise to me. The only surprise moving forward is if they find a way to get better, and I just don't – what trajectory are you seeing that you think it's going to get better week to week?
I don't. I think because they have Washington coming up here in 2 weeks. They play Cal on the road, and then they come back to L.A. They'll play Washington Coliseum. Washington's one of the best teams in the country, right? Washington is – going to give them a hell of a time. Maybe SC can find a way to win. They got to turn around the very next weekend and go to Eugene and play a Ducks team that will be either a one loss. The Ducks have to go to Utah to play at Salt Lake this weekend. That's a very big game as well. But there is no break, and the defense isn't getting a lot better. And like you said, Slee, the reason that SC was in the mix the way that they were last year, and the reason that they were able to get to 6-0 the way that they were this year, is because Caleb Williams is that good. Caleb Williams is able to cover up for so many things that aren't that good. An offensive line that's not that good. Special teams unit that's not that good. A defensive unit that we've been talking about from the beginning of the season. It's just that number 13 is so extraordinary that other stuff, you're like, well, he'll fix it. It's kind of like we were talking about the Rams. That when you have all this talent, it just the little things don't really matter as much. Well, he's been covering for all the little things. And now you're going up against really good teams. And, oh, by the way, Caleb Williams is leaving. Caleb Williams is going to go to the NFL. You're going to go into a conference that has Ohio State, Michigan, Wisconsin, Penn State, and, oh, by the way, you're bringing Washington and Oregon with you. Okay, so now instead of playing in a conference where, and this year is a little bit of an outlier because it's particularly good, but you're going to have a meat grinder of a schedule more seasons than not. Your best player is leaving. Where is this program right now? It felt like they kind of jumped to the front of the line last year because of the Heisman Trophy and everything else. But right now, they're kind of in the middle of the pack in their own conference, and they're going to a better league.
We need to see Lincoln Riley build a team because he inherited a really good team with Oklahoma. And obviously he built Oklahoma still continuously after that, but he inherited a good team. He didn't inherit a good team here at USC, but he brought people in as transfers, and obviously
that was the big pitch was like, hey, we don't have to build. We got the transfer portal. We go get guys right out the gate and just kind of keep building right away.
But how the Nick Sabans of the world and how the Kirby Smarts of the world is both they get transfers, but they also do really well to build a team. And I think that might take time.
It does.
At best. By the way, I'm okay with the takes time. One of the things that he said, that he said in one of his long quotes, we're not going anywhere. We signed up to do this for a long time. Okay? By the way, you could believe that. You could not believe it. But that, to me, is the one thing that's most important with Lincoln Riley right now. Are you going to be at SC for the next 3 to 5 years? And I think that.
Let me ask you this, because I think it's a really good question.
Yeah.
Can you say that about most guys? Like, I know, like, for instance, Kyle Whittingham, will he be at Utah in 3 years? Yeah.
Can I give you an example?
But
what I mean
almost
by that?
everybody else feels like it's really tenuous year to year.
Can I give an example by that? Is he at USC today, right now, sitting there in his office? Is he saying to himself, I'm so committed to this school? I'm not saying that other opportunities can't come up.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the NFL might not come calling in a year or so. My question is his mind frame, I'm going to turn this thing around, and I'm not going anywhere until it happens. I don't know if I feel that commitment is there from Lincoln Riley. I don't.
Let's talk about that, because I feel a little bit differently than that. I think he is your prototypical college football coach that you have my full attention right up until I leave. I think that's how this goes. We got some phone calls that I want to get into as well. It's all coming up. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
What's up, Niner fans? Join me, producer Jorge, at Hollywood Park Casino Monday night at 5 p.m. for Monday Night Football as our Niners take on the Vikings, and you'll get 3 shots to win $1 million on our $1 Million Monday contest. And just bring your ponchos, bring your flags, bring all your swag, and let's go, baby! Niners, Niner gang, baby!
Big news, Laker fans. John Ireland here. You can now stream every Lakers game on the ESPN LA app. Don't miss a second of the action with Michael Thompson and I on the call. Plus, all your live and local Lakers talk every day in the palm of your hand.
You're one tap away from everything Lakers.
You could even win Lakers tickets.
Download the ESPN LA app.
And bam! Download the ESPN LA app at the App Store and Google Play.
College Football Corner. Take it away, Producer M.
All right, y'all. So Alabama, number 9. Alabama beat Tennessee 34-20. And Alabama now is ranked number 9 in the AP College Poll. The College Football Playoff Poll will be coming out sometime in the next week. Halloween. And so look out for Alabama. They're sitting at 7-1 with wins against 2 ranked teams. And LSU is coming up next. So next week is going to be a big challenge for Alabama to take on LSU. They are right now at the top of the SEC West.
Yep.
Do not let them into the playoffs because they will mess things up for everybody else.
Okay, just real quick. Nobody thought that the end of Alabama football was here, right? I know that they looked pretty bad against Texas, and they had, was a clunker against UCF, was it? Or
USF.
Yes.
Even this weekend, what were they down at half?
Look it up.
They were down. Listen, they showed you're so accustomed to seeing them just win and dominate that the moment you don't, you're like,
Their quarterback is mediocre, which is the problem that they have this year. But everything else is still pretty. Nick Saban did not forget how to play football. Nick Saban did not forget which kids to go pick to come play football for him. He is a genius at this. He didn't just wake up dumb one morning and forget how to do it. I'm with you. Do not let them hang around. Somebody needs to give them that
hanging
second
around,
loss.
brother.
Of course they are.
They're in a great spot.
Yeah. If they win the SEC, if they lurk around, they can still win the SEC.
Of course they can.
And if they lurk around, the committee is going to get Alabama in if they can.
Because
they trust them.
As of right now, the conference is obviously East and West. Alabama's on top of the West. They have one loss. I don't know what the rest of their schedule looks like, but it is in their hands.
They play LSU still, so that's the biggest test left on the schedule. That's the only ranked team left, but obviously they end with Auburn.
The USF loss, the USF close call, is the one that made you go, oh, they might not be very good. Texas is a good team that beat them. Whatever. You're going to lose a game here and there. The USF one was genuinely weird. They should have won that game by a bunch, and they didn't. But they
close
did
against
win.
A&M.
They did, but they won. They're just.
It's true.
It's a work in progress, and as long as you keep winning these games, and they're not fatal flaws. Now, maybe their quarterback, Milroe is the guy that's kind of settled in that spot. He's not great by Alabama standards, but they got nothing but NFL players all over that roster.
So at half, they're down 20-7, and I think that's one of the at least in the Saban window. To be down by that much at home, it's one of the biggest that they've been down at home.
All right,
USF was up on them too at half too, but I don't think it might not have been at home, but it was still pretty bad.
And they only ended up scoring like 20 points in that game too. It was a very low scoring game against USF.
Also today, you could go hang out with Jorge at HPC.
The hell are you doing over there?
Hold on.
What's going on over there?
Hold on. Where's the camera? Oh, right here. Carlo, make sure it's a one shot.
He's directing and producing at the same time.
So check out the swag. Like, check out the hat. Check out the crispy sweater, like we like to say, Travis.
Yep.
So Niner fans, today, 5 p.m., Hollywood Park Casino. Join me for a Monday Night Football watch party as the Niners take on the Vikings, and you'll have a chance to win $1 million as part of our $1 Million Monday contest.
That's it.
And just come out and let's have some fun. Get a beer or two or whatever. Hollywood Park Casino, eat, drink, and play.
There you go.
You're going to be
5 p.m.
Is that a Niner T-shirt underneath your Niner sweatshirt?
It's my McCaffrey T-shirt.
Of course it is.
And don't worry, he's also wearing red shoes.
3 pieces of swag and he's got his Niner shoes too. My goodness, you look like an assistant coach.
Yeah, that's right.
You look like you're ready to go out there and start taking over for
coordinator
Shanahan, no doubt. You asked the question a second ago, Slee.
Yeah.
If Lincoln Riley is a long-termer at SC, I think he is in the category of the guys that are there until the second he's not there.
Okay.
Like Nick Saban, I don't think is going anywhere until Nick Saban decides he wants to
stop
hang it
coaching.
Yeah. Right. I think a guy like Kyle Whittingham at Utah, because clearly there's been other opportunities that he hasn't pursued. Mm-hmm. He's got a good program. They play at a high level. He's good. There's probably one or two. Jim Harbaugh is at Michigan right up until he's not at Michigan, right? I think Lincoln Riley falls into that if SC can continue to be good, and again, they're a 2-loss team. I think they're going to lose a couple more along the way, but they're still a good team. It's a marquee brand. He's a marquee brand. Somebody in the NFL is going to knock on his door at one point or another, I believe, and he'll think about it. But I don't think it's one of these where he's in his office right now saying, man, I got a 2-year plan and I'm out of here. I think I'm here full stop right up until I don't think he was looking to leave Oklahoma until SC showed up and said, what do you want? He goes, You can't afford it. Try me. What do you want? I want this, this, and this. Done. You want to get on the plane? What? It's going to be one of those sorts of things, but I don't think he's actively looking to leave.
I'm not trying to say that he's actively looking to leave. What I'm saying more of is we spent a couple stories last week of, hey, would he go to the NFL? Would he go with Caleb Williams? Is there a situation where a team needs a coach and a quarterback? They would take Caleb Williams, but then they'd also consider Lincoln Riley. Uh-huh. I think there's a little bit of doubt, and that's all I'm referring to, because that's all you need if you're Washington or Oregon or some of these other schools.
They're doing that anyway, though.
They might be doing it anyways, but there's also topics that are very relevant, that are fresh around Lincoln Riley, where I don't know, and I'm going to go back to the quote that I read. And again, I may read it and you say, Al, every coach says this, but he said, we're not going anywhere. We signed up to do this for a long time. I think that's important, because I think there's a little perception that, at least for me, aside from, let's just say they only had one more loss the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
You pick the team. Let's say they beat Washington.
Sure.
They lost at Oregon, and then they beat UCLA, and whoever's left, Cal, I think, is the other school. There might be one other one. You still got 3 losses.
Mm-hmm.
You're not making it to the Pac-12 championship. You're obviously not in the discussion for any of the other stuff, so that's 2 years in a row that you've been at SC, and I thought last year was a good year for USC, but even if he gets one more loss, you took a step back. That there's just you want to feel a certain way that your coaches. I left Oklahoma to come turn around USC. That until I turn around USC, I don't want to look anywhere else. That I'm going to get paid X amount of dollars. I'm going to get opportunities. SC is going to give me everything I possibly need. But the goal and the accomplishment of turning around SC, especially as they're going to go into one of these better conferences, you're hoping that that's the number one priority for him.
I think what he said, this is a classic 2 things can be true at the same time. I don't think he meant I'm here. Don't worry about me. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to grow roots here. But I also think it's just boilerplate what these guys say. But I don't think he's trying to shoehorn his way out. I think that it's changed so dramatically over the course of the last 4 or 5 years with the coaches have always kind of moved around a lot, but now the players can basically leave whenever they want.
Yeah.
The players are individual entities that are economically viable and professionally viable, that I can go over here. I'm not getting enough time at SC. I'll just go to Oregon or vice versa, right? That I can find a place. Bo Nix has been in college football for 43 years. And he's still out there running around doing his thing.
54 starts.
Most of all time. And by the way, they got like 5 or 6 games left. He's going to play 1 million games by the time it's all said and done. So this I'm here for life thing, it doesn't mean that for the coaches. It doesn't mean that for the players. Like the guy, especially the really good ones, the guys that show up and stay for a long time are kind of the outliers. It's just changed so dramatically so quickly. Let's try a phone call here. Compton, JD in Compton. JD, what's up?
Yeah, man, Lincoln Riley, he has no plans to stay here because he's going to leave with Caleb. Because he refuses to put a defensive coach in place. Why would he hire Cliff Kingsbury? Please explain that one to me. He deserves to be fired just for hiring Cliff Kingsbury. Like, you got him patrolling the sideline like he's going to help that defense there. That's giving up 30 points a game. I don't get it. He doesn't seem committed to USC at all. And can I get on another topic?
Sure.
The NFL is a quarterback-driven league. And all it is a glorified game of Frisbee. Because there's nothing else but all they do is play and catch. Who can make the fanciest catch? Who can make the fanciest throw? Where is the rest of the football game? I used to go to Raider games. And the best play in the game was when that returner turned that corner and the whole stadium stood up. When he caught that sideline and he hit that next gear, that was always the most exciting play of the football game. And it seems like the league has just regulated that out intentionally by throwing a flag on every kickoff.
Well, they don't want kickoffs. Thanks for the call, JD.
Yeah,
the NFL very clearly wants the kickoff to disappear. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just flat out get
ball
rid
to
of
25.
It. Right.
Yeah.
Here's the ball at the 25. Good luck moving at 75 yards. Player safety is at least something that they are publicly concerned about. Whether they are or not, we could debate that. But at least publicly, they're trying to eliminate, here's all 10 guys with a 50-yard running head start smashing into people. They
want to save that for guys like Travis on YouTube
exactly.
on his anniversary to go home and watch.
Exactly. By the way, NFL's most vicious hits. That's where you start. It's unbelievable. Glorified Frisbee, I'd push back on that. But the NFL goes where the viewers are. People love the NFL like they love nothing else. The top television programs of every year are NFL football games. That's it. So, JD, you might miss the totality of a nice, 2-yard trap draw. But, okay, they're going to chuck it. It is 7-on-7, and people seem to dig it.
Yeah, he wanted ugly. You should have watched Pittsburgh yesterday. It's a perfect example. That's old school ugly football. But one other thing on Lincoln Riley too, and listen, I don't have the answer to this, but could it just be as simple as this as well? They end up with 3-4 losses this year. Is there a chance Lincoln Riley's just an overrated head coach that he is.
I like that question.
That he is at a program where there's a lot of other good schools. It's only going to get more difficult for USC as you move forward. I think he has shown blinders of not wanting to improve his defense and finding somebody that could take care of that side of the ball. Could he just be an overrated head coach? That he was in a conference in the past that had incredible success in Oklahoma. What do you have, like an 800 winning percentage, but also 1-4 in bowl games when you actually went up against the best competition? Maybe we're finding out a little bit more about Lincoln Riley as well.
Overrated, I think, depends on who we're rating him against. Is he Nick Saban or Kirby Smart or Jim Harbaugh? No, he's not. Is he better than 90% of these guys? Yeah, he is. So is he one of the 5 or 6 best? Probably not. Is he one of the 12 or 15 best? Yeah, he is.
Was SC looking for...
Hey, look, I've been critical. SC had a series of guys that were not the right guy for the job. This was a massive upgrade.
But this guy coming also created expectations of...
For sure.
They're going to be in the mix every year.
Because they got close right away. But you may be right that it may not be that they've got one of the 3 best guys, but they got one of the 10 or 12 or 15 best guys. And Clay Helton wasn't one of the 200 best guys.
No, the Helton one.
So it was a massive, massive upgrade right there. One last thing I want to kind of talk about that JD mentioned. This idea, well, he's going to go to the NFL. He's going to go with Caleb Williams. Why would an NFL team be knocking down Lincoln Riley's door at this point? Why is that something that they'd have to have? I'm not saying it's impossible.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is this is not where, hey, that's the next big thing. I got to go get my hands on that guy.
Was it 2 years ago? A year and a half ago?
Yeah. No, he's always been mentioned, but it's never happened. And I don't know if the last couple of years make him more attractive.
That's what I was going to say. Does it have to be, well, look what he did with USC. Look, that's why I just keep saying, be around at USC to churn this thing. When I say churn this thing around, what I'm talking about is if SC got to a college football playoff game and you lost again in the college football playoff, okay, you know what? It happens.
Yeah,
his track record's not all good there. But then at least an NFL franchise or organization could say, this guy's still doing it. Look what he did. It was Oklahoma, now it's USC. But he's probably going to take a step back before he takes a step forward this year.
I'm trying to think of the the college coaches out that you just say it's only a matter of time before they either go to the NFL or go back to the NFL. Harbaugh's at the top of that list.
Yeah, that's definitely number one overall.
He's number one overall. Is there and is Riley the second guy where it's like, hey, it feels like there's a little bit of an NFL vibe around him. I don't know. I mean, Saban's not going to do it. Kirby Smart's not going to do it.
I can't see Kirby Smart doing it. They're like kings in their own hometowns, but it's a very special guy that is not satisfied with the college rank and is not consistently winning at the college rank because I think at college is a better job because you have more stability long term than going to the NFL. But maybe is it I don't know, is it Kyle Whittingham, honestly? Is it Washington's coach? Is it Oregon's coach?
DeBoer is interesting at Washington because he's a young guy and maybe like Kyle Whittingham has been in Salt Lake City for, I think he's been the head coach there 17 years.
Yeah.
I don't know how long he was on Urban Meyer's staff prior to that, but he's a lifer in Salt Lake. He's going to Joe Paterno that thing. Yeah. He's going to Bobby Bowden that thing. He's going to be there forever. Until he decides he wants to leave, he's not leaving.
Yeah, there's no one to me that stands out besides
Harbaugh.
Lincoln Riley and Harbaugh of people that you're like always hear in the NFL rumors because like you said earlier, it's a lot of these guys, if they're good in college football, that means that they're going to stay in college football for a long time. But there's no like surprise team that's not going to cash it in like a Luke Fickell out there.
The only other name for me is Brady Hoke.
Hasn't he already had a shot at it?
He was at Michigan.
Yeah, he was at Michigan.
He was there. I think he was the head coach for 8 days?
I think it was a total of 2 weeks for legal purposes.
I think he was an assistant in
Carolina.
He has
to be there for a certain amount of time.
It did not go well there for him at all. You brought up an interesting question. We can do this at 45. You said, Em, that you think college head coach is better than NFL head coach. I kind of want to peel the onion on that a little bit. Factor Caps coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Drove it down to San Diego yesterday and then drove it back to SoFi Stadium yesterday. Of course, I'm talking about my Silverado from Rotolo Chevrolet. I love that thing. I sit up nice and high, nice and comfortable. As a bigger guy, it's the best thing in the world. If you've been thinking about a new Silverado, get yourself out to Rotolo Chevrolet. ROTOLO, RotoloChevy.com online. But going out to the store, it's right off the 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit in Fontana. They got every make and model you can think of when it comes to Silverados. If you've been thinking about a Chevy car, truck, going out to Rotolo Chevrolet. The selection, the pricing, unbelievable. But here's the thing that you're only going to get at Rotolo Chevrolet. Customer service that is second to none. Dealer of the Year, 13 years in a row. It's what Mike Capozio, who you see on TV, who you hear right here on 710, it's what he does. He makes sure that every person that walks onto the lot at Rotolo Chevrolet feels like they're the most important person there, because you are. And they're going to take care of you like that. Transparent, courteous, upfront. You're going to feel good about your purchase at Rotolo Chevrolet. When was the last time you could say that? Right off the 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit, and tell them that Travis sent you into Rotolo Chevrolet.
Big news, Laker fans. John Ireland here. You can now stream every Lakers game on the ESPN LA app. Don't miss a second of the action with Michael Thompson and I on the call. Plus, all your live and local Lakers talk every day in the palm of your hand.
You're one tap away from everything Lakers.
You could even win Lakers tickets.
Download the ESPN LA app. And bam!
Download the ESPN LA app at the App Store and Google Play.
What's up, Niner fans? Join me, producer Jorge, at Hollywood Park Casino Monday night at 5 p.m. for Monday Night Football as our Niners take on the Vikings, and you'll get 3 shots to win $1 million on our $1 Million Monday contest. And just bring your ponchos, bring your flags, bring all your swag, and let's go, baby! Niners, Niner gang, baby!
Oh, that's cap.
That's so cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go back.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
no, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys, if you're just tuning in today, just now, Travis is wearing my Steelers jacket because the Steelers beat the Rams yesterday. And
comfy.
Whenever it's the Rams lose, I guess someone here gives him things to wear.
I was going to say, we need like Arizona Cardinal fans in the building so I can give somebody else something. Here are the rankings of comfortability and the things I've had to wear. This is number one by a mile.
Well, I thought the Niner one was very comfortable.
The Niner poncho is nice, but it's too warm.
Yeah.
It's like it's really heavy.
A big hug.
And then DeAndre got something. I think he got it out of a gumball machine.
Tablecloth.
Yeah, that thing was awful.
It was a gift to DeAndre. We're not talking bad, but
it's one of the games of the claw. It's like you got a poncho.
Exactly. You pop open that little plastic egg and it opens up, and you got a poncho.
But this is a good look for you, Trav. Maybe like get another jacket of this sort. Maybe
I'm not gonna lie, it's super comfortable.
Yeah, it's nice and worn.
I'll make $10.
Nope.
15.
Nope.
All right. Well, we'll see.
I'm going to the DMV today. Do you want to pick up that tab?
Oh, is that today?
Yes.
Oh, we got to talk about that.
Maybe tomorrow.
Okay. Are you mentally prepared for this?
I am incredibly nervous.
Nervous?
So, we'll talk about it in the break.
Okay.
I'm nervous about some stuff.
Okay.
All right. So, So last night after the Rams game, I went to go see a comedy show at the Pasadena Civic Center. It was John and John, so it's Jon Stewart and John Mulaney.
Oh, nice.
And it was kind of a co-headliner situation. So it had an opener, and then it had John Mulaney for an hour, and then Jon Stewart for an hour. So my friends and I were going. We're fans of both, and so we got like kind of cheaper tickets. Like, we kind of ended up being like a partially obstructed view behind a pillar, and so
it's like going to a Yankee game in the 30s.
That's good.
But it's like it's a comedy show. It's mostly an audible experience, so we didn't really care that much that we were in the bad seats. So the opener started. He's funny. So this worker from Pasadena Civic Center comes over to me and my group, and I'm on the end. So he goes, "Excuse me, ma'am. How many are in your party?" And I said 4, and he said, "So here's new tickets. We're going to take you and we're going to put you at 11 rows back in the dead center."
Nice.
And so perfect view right there. Great.
Awesome.
So we go to move over to our seats. They also took our phones, so we had no flashlight or anything to figure out where our seats were. So it's already dark. The opener's on, and we have our phones locked in these little pouches.
Okay.
And so we go to our section, and it's so distracting. We go down, we look at the thing, and it looks like there's people in our seats. So I go to the person and I say, "Hey, I'm so sorry, but I think you're in our seats." And he says, "Well, no, I can't see my ticket, but I think these are our seats." So I was like, okay. So then I got an usher. She asked them to move, and we got to our seats. So I should not feel bad about this, even though I did. Travis, Fetch a Cap.
I don't know how to answer that, but you should not feel bad about it. Is that Cap?
Yeah, that's Cap.
No,
okay.
Fact.
Yeah,
That's fact.
Yeah, you should not. The people that are running the show offered you those tickets. They at that point become your tickets. And if you're there front row or 11th row dead center, and someone else is in your seats, even if you bought obstructed view in the roof, those are now your seats. You shouldn't feel bad about that at all.
Al?
Okay, I got a follow-up question here. So were they just close by? Were they like a row off?
Yeah, they were like 3 seats to the right. So it probably just was the same thing that they couldn't see the seat number.
Sure.
And so they just assumed this is the right spot.
Yeah, fact, no problem at all.
Right.
Yeah, no problem at all. I think the only time that, and this you see it happens, you go to a sporting event, somebody's in your tickets or somebody's in your seats. "Hey, brother, these are my seats." "Oh, cool, no problem." They just get up and go 2 seats over to your right. And then the next family comes, and now they're in their seats. It's like, okay, well, that idiot clearly has no interest of what his seats are. You didn't do anything wrong, and the guy that was sitting there did nothing wrong. He couldn't see and got to his seats.
I felt bad because the opener was on, and we could clearly be seeing that we're having the movement thing. But again, it's not our fault. They moved us late.
That's not your fault at all. I have 2 quick
but
questions.
I'm uncomfortable with that too. If it's like it's action, it's going, especially
you don't want to
that
be in
type of an
anybody's
event.
way.
Yeah.
And in a comedy show, in particular, like in a baseball game, the players aren't paying attention.
Sure,
but a comedy show, the guy telling, there was a guy or a woman, I don't know, but the guy telling the jokes sees people arguing over a seat. That is,
they're going to put it out.
Right, they're gonna do it. 2 quick ones.
Okay.
How was it?
It was good. I've seen John.
wasn't.
I've seen John before, John Mulaney before, and I liked the other show better.
It's good does not fill me with, hey, that was those guys killed it. Were they working on new stuff?
They work on new stuff. I think I was not in the right headspace. I was tired from work, and I had some extra personal life things that I was just I was not in the mood to be roll on the floor laughing out loud. So.
And one last one. Why do they take your phone? What are they concerned about?
The testing. So this is happening a lot with comedy shows right now, especially if it's a big guy.
They don't want to release. They don't want to get that material released.
Exactly. They don't want the material released. They don't want to be caught in a weird situation. Mm-hmm. So they don't want it to be. They want people to still see the special whenever the special comes out. So that's
don't get canceled nowadays.
No, and by the way,
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
The thing to do too is you put a camera right here. I usually get it from Carlo.
FBR bug.
Yeah. And nobody knows. And before you know, it's on YouTube within a half hour. Perfect. I'm making thousands off of it.
Okay.
No, you shouldn't feel bad. Plus, you had a physical ticket that shows proof that that's your seat. So no, don't feel bad about stuff like that.
Yeah. But some of the jokes, I think they were funny. But
who is better, Stewart or Mulaney?
I think Mulaney because I like Mulaney more in terms of his comedy. I haven't seen Stewart do stand up. I've seen him on the Daily Show, obviously back when he used to do it. But they're both good. I think they both had weird distractions happening in the middle of the show too, which is a little odd, but anyway. So this weekend, I also went to go see the Taylor Swift concert movie, and I went with my friends. We wore our Eras Tour merch that we got at the concert. We bought the extra. So at AMC, you can get these commemorative cups and commemorative popcorn bowls, and they're an extra not that much extra. It's like extra $5 for each because you get the popcorn and you get the cup too. So it's extra $5 each, but I just got the cup.
Cost them 39 cents.
Yes,
it's a good return.
My friends and I all went to see Taylor in SoFi together.
Okay.
And so the show that you're seeing at the concert is the exact same show. There's nothing different.
So you're watching a movie of the concert you saw with your own 2 eyes.
So we have spent so much time, so much money, so much mental energy on Taylor Swift. We have been brainwashed by Taylor Swift. Alan, fact or cap?
I couldn't find a more fact. Like there is religions. There's the Bible, there's the Quran, there's, go down the list, and Taylor Swift is somewhere. I don't know what it is, but it is literally a religion. You have 1,000% been brainwashed.
Just the amount of money I have spent on Taylor Swift alone is staggering.
Can I before we wrap this around? Was it good? Like, were you happy to be there, or were you like, I don't think this is necessary?
I had a fantastic time. I had a great time. I was all smiles. I was like, let's run it back after the movie was over. But it is exactly, there's no behind the scenes. There's no extra stuff. It's literally just the show.
But if you're walking away saying, I had a fantastic time, then I got nothing to say. Ultimately, at the end of the day, however you have a fantastic time, I thought, this was my opinion, maybe I'm completely off on this and I just do not understand this. I thought what they were doing inside that theater, especially for somebody that actually went to the show, would be like, am I really at the theater watching this? I already went to the actual live show, but that's not her reaction.
You're not a member, Slee.
She's not. She feels bad because she didn't girl math this one. It cost her.
I definitely girl math this, but it's also the opportunity cost of being happy.
Sure.
Taylor Swift brings me a lot of joy. Again, if you're gonna make fun of me online, it's making me really happy.
Good for you.
No,
but
you're good.
Jorge, have I been brainwashed?
Yes, you have. I mean, because we talked about it yesterday, and I was asking you how different was the movie from the actual concert. You said it wasn't that much different, except that the cameras are right next to her. It's like you had a closer look at her.
You see the expressions. Yes. I got to see the visuals that I get to see because I kind of had a side view. Mm-hmm. So there's that. Travis, am I brainwashed? Fact or cap?
You're not really asking me this, so let's just move on.
What was funny too to me is that
no, you were not.
I tweeted out a picture of me and my friends going to see the movie, and so obviously we're all in our Taylor Swift Eras Tour merch. I have a picture with holding my Eras Tour commemorative cup from going to see the movie. And I said, oh, what movie are we seeing? And obviously everyone's playing along, being like, you're seeing The Exorcist, you're seeing Killers of the Flower Moon.
Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, Top Gun Maverick for the 5th time. So I had a great time. I understand why everyone's making fun of us, but I had a good time.
Look, you had a good time. End of the conversation. That's all that matters, right? It's your money. You get to spend it the way you want. And if you want to donate to the cult of Taylor Swift,
Taylor
it's entirely
Swift
your
Foundation.
Choice. Entirely your choice. All right. Head coach on a college campus or in an NFL locker room. That's next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. 1-800-9-million. That's the number for Sweet James. That's the number you call if you've been hurt in an accident. Because here's what you need to know. Put as simply as possible, the system is not set up for you to get what you deserve. The system is not set up to help you out. The system is set up for the insurance company to steamroll you, right? And if you don't have somebody that knows that and knows how to navigate it and knows how to get you what you're entitled to, you're not going to get the justice that you deserve. That's why you got to call Sweet James. 1-800-9-million. 1-800-900-0000. Because Sweet James and his partners, they have literally decades of experience, multiple attorneys looking at every case. So when they see a settlement that's not right, they're going to make sure that it gets fixed. And if they still can't get that settlement, that's when they go to trial, and that's when they win. 98% win rate. That's why you call Sweet James. 1-800-9-million. That's 1-800-900-0000. And, of course, you can go online at sweetjames.com.
Return of Million Dollar Mondays.
$1 Million Mondays.
Your chance to win $1 million from 710 ESPN.
Listen every Monday this football season for your chance at $1 million. $1 Million Mondays.
Presented by Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play.
Listen every Monday to 710 ESPN. When you hear the cue to call, be caller number 7. Give us your Super Bowl prediction. Both teams and the final score, and you could be winning $1 million this football season on LA's $1 million mega sports station, 710 ESPN.
Big news, Laker fans. John Ireland here. You can now stream every Lakers game on the ESPN LA app. Don't miss a second of the action with Michael Thompson and I on the call. Plus, all your live and local Lakers talk every day in the palm of your hand.
You're one tap away from everything Lakers.
You could even win Lakers tickets.
Download the ESPN LA app and bam!
Download the ESPN LA app at the App Store and Google Play.
From 710 ESPN.
$1 Million Mondays, presented by Hollywood Park Casino.
$1 Million Mondays.
Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play.
$1 Million Mondays are back on 710, and I think we got caller number 7, Jack. Are you ready, partner? Let's find out who's caller number 7.
Indeed. Caller number 7 is Chris Salati from Westlake Village. Chris, congratulations to you. We need your Super Bowl prediction. I need both teams and how you think each team will score. What's up, Chris?
Hey, guys. Thank you so much. Super Bowl prediction, San Francisco 49ers 31, Kansas City Chiefs 23.
31-23, the Niners over the Chiefs. So we got that right, Chris?
Yes, sir.
There you go. Congratulations, Chris. You are our caller number 7 today. Good luck with your Super Bowl prediction. Thanks for playing $1 Million Mondays. And just for playing, you will win 2 tickets to SoFi Stadium for the game coming up on November 19th. It's $1 Million Mondays on 710 ESPN, presented by Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play. Thanks, Chris. It's a pretty good deal, Slee.
That's a good deal.
You get to go to a Rams game, and you might win. By the way, okay, who you got to pick? If you had to pick today, who are you picking?
I think his pick that he just took.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I think that I'm okay with that. My question with the Niners now is, Health is going to obviously be important for every team out there, but that's the first time they've showed anything. It's like, okay, well, if they're not 100%, you've told me this, which I think is very interesting. You want to see Purdy in a game where he's down, 21-14 in the fourth quarter, whatever it is, right? Like something along those lines.
He got a little bit of that against the Browns last week, and he was okay.
Yeah,
it wasn't like it was a tire fire. He was all right. It wasn't perfect, but
I don't think it will be a tire fire. I think it's just you're waiting for the moment of Purdy won that game.
Speaking of the Niners, they got Monday Night Football tonight against the Minnesota Vikings. Here are our picks. We still have the Niner game to go. I have 4 points on one correct guess. I got Utah in the 4 spot. You have 3 points on 2 correct guesses. You had the Steelers and also the Utes. Emily got the Steelers correct at number 3, so she has 3 points. Jorge has 4 points with Utah and the Steelers. So if the Niners win, Jorge's going to win the week. If the Vikings cover or win,
you'll win the week.
Then I will win the week. So that's how it's going.
A quick poll here amongst I'm not going to include you in it. I'm just going to include them in it. Let's just say, hypothetically, the Niners won tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And covered?
And covered. The chances Trav brings up the standings tomorrow.
0, but I will definitely bring up the standings tomorrow.
If the Vikings win or cover, and Trav wins the week, he might tell Chris, can we get in a little early today? Can we do
that 9 o'clock hour again? We'll take the whole hour to break it down.
We'll cut
the
his
9
mic off,
o'clock hour.
7 points. It's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points. It's in Minnesota. Debo's not going to play.
Debo out.
No, hairline
McCaffrey
fracture.
in.
Yep.
But Caffrey's going to play. George Kittle. Yesterday was National Tight Ends Day, so he wants to make a statement.
Did you guys see how who did the Niners play that was very physical against them the week before? The
Browns.
The Browns.
Yep.
The Browns did not look good yesterday, and I think it's just that physical game where you just bang on each other the whole time.
Except Myles Garrett looked great.
Myles Garrett's from another planet.
Okay,
that dude's insane.
I don't know if you've seen this video, but him jumping over the other line to block that kick was absolutely insane. Okay, so someone also resurfaced a video from his workouts over the summer where he was practicing box jumps with probably like 75-pound weights in each hand. He is another specimen. There's obviously the T.J. Watts of the world, the Myles Garretts, the Micah Parsons, the Aaron Donalds that are all game wreckers that are like that, but Myles Garrett and TJ Watt, I feel like to me are like the two ones at the top.
I'd throw Parsons in there too. Bosa and Donald feel like they're just this season I'm talking about, but just this season just a little bit behind. Can I confess something to you guys?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at like party games. Right, cornhole, horseshoes, things like this. I'm pretty good at those sorts of things. I'm pretty good at things like back in the day, like quarters and things like that. I have an ability to be good at these games. I played die for the first time in my life this weekend.
Do I know what die is?
It's where you take one of the dice and you throw it up in the air and it lands on the table, and the other team has to catch it before it hits the ground. And if it hits the ground, you get a point. If they catch it, nothing happens, and they can land in the cup. There's a bunch of weird rules, and you have to throw it super high, right? So it takes all these crazy hops off the table. I wasn't good at it, and it really, really bothers me that I wasn't good at it.
Do you think you'd be good at it if you were in college?
Oh, see, and now you're.
I'm sorry.
No. Don't be sorry, because you just jumped right to the bullseye of this. That's
I don't know.
No,
I don't know about that.
Yes. She's exactly right.
No, because if you were good,
if
you were good at some of these games, a lot of these different types of games, all of them kind of have a similar. They've got a similar coordination to them. Let's put it that way. And all of a sudden, you're not good at this game.
It's because I'm old and slow. I can't get to the die in time. I can't get my throw to land where I need it to land.
Okay.
It was so deeply frustrating because games like this, You know, I don't say this very often. I know what I'm going to win at before I even start most of the time. I know the things I'm good at. I would have bet a lot that I was going to be good at that game, and I was terrible. Just absolutely terrible. And if I were 25 instead of 52, I think I would have been much better at it, and I missed my prime.
Would you still be good at like Pong? I guess because Pong, I think, ages better. Like beer Pong ages better.
Well, there's less fast twitch.
All that stuff you don't
right?
have to do anything, right? It's just literally coordination. It
But
just
die
comes
got to
down
be a
being
little
coordinated.
quick. You got to be able to move around it because it's like a ping pong table size. So you kind of play half the table. Your partner's on the other half of the table. You got to be able to move quickly.
Well, that's like the equivalent of like running a marathon in these games. That's a lot of movement.
There's one part where you can do a FIFA, which I learned is where if the dice hits the table or it's coming off, I can kick it to my partner. If they catch it, we get a point. I kicked it over the fence.
Actually, everybody there, they started actually packing the table up. They're like, "That's it, guys. We're done."
I had like a 45-yard punt. It was a nice hang time. My defense was able to get underneath it. I should not kick things. It was a lot. I'm so bummed at myself that I stunk at
Who was your partner?
Bobby. Going up against one of the other dads and Michael. And Michael's like, how do you play this? Yeah. Right. Right. And he's diving on the grass. He's coming. He's kneeing it to his partner.
Okay,
I'm
but
like,
also
dude, come
he
on.
is
Michael's
an
sending
athlete.
videos into other colleges, letting them know.
Bobby was good at it too, Em. So Bobby's fresh out of school and all this stuff. So him being good at it's not a surprise.
So it's just a regular table. Things bounce.
It's got a line. What you like? Think of a ping pong table, but instead of a net, there's just a line,
Okay.
and you have to throw the die. And it has to land on the other side of the line, and you have to catch it before it hits the ground.
Yep. So you throw it to my side, basically.
Yes.
Okay, and I have to catch
You
your
have to
toss.
catch, but you can't pin it against your body.
Right.
You got to catch it out of the air.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We should play.
Yeah, that
fun.
sounds very fun. It's
pretty fun.
Should do it in the conference room.
Yeah, we should.
Every Tuesday.
And so usually those games too, the more you play,
The better you get at it, sure.
Not this one.
No.
Because you're trying to snatch something out of midair. It's a little challenging.
When he bounces.
Like playing jacks.
It can hit the table as many times, but you can't reach over the table. You got to wait till it's about to fall off the table. So if it hits the table and just settles on the table, nothing happens.
Got it.
So you want to throw it so it takes a crazy hop. And I stunk at it, and it bothers me. You had a question about your Padres and how they can get their hands on one of my Dodgers.
Maybe.
We'll do it next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
All right, Flo, I got something to tell you guys real quick.
What's up, Flo?
So I go to the kitchen, right? And I'm getting a cup of coffee, whatever. We have a coffee machine there. And then Tiffany Silva's there, one of the MCs back there. She's wearing a Viking sweater. She's like, hey, buddy. Like,
ooh,
go Vikings.
Like
I was like, whoa.
I like that.
Yeah.
Calling you out.
Exactly. I said, hey, Tiffany, so maybe you should join me today at 5 p.m. and we can watch this game together.
That's right.
I'm going to be hosting this Monday Night Football watch party at the Hollywood Park Casino. You should come and join me 5 p.m. and bring your Viking sweater with you. Then we can watch it together and then see who's going to win tonight. So
Where's it again?
Tonight, 5 p.m., Hollywood Park Casino. And, let's come join me, watch the party, Niners, Vikings, and, just let's go have a beer. They have food there, too, and you have a shot to win $1 million, part of our $1 million Monday
That's it.
contest. I have trouble saying that.
That doesn't roll off your
Like
tongue.
mean interest squad scrimmage.
Exactly.
Squimmage. That's your version of
so
squimmage.
$1 million Monday contest. You have a shot to win $1 million, and today, 5 p.m., Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, and play.
Or you mentioned that they have food there. They have good food there.
They do.
Yeah, the food there
Calamari?
is
The
really,
wings.
really good.
Oh, the
wings are really good.
Man, yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Do some damage.
Was
when you're
Tiffany
out there.
doing the skull thing? Clapping over her head when she walked in to get her coffee?
She was just thinking, like, she has a white sweater. She goes like this. Oh, look, check this out, Vikings. I'm like, go Vikings. Good luck tonight, buddy. I was like, all right.
Awesome.
No, that is something else. Here's a quick tweet, Sleeve. Brandon writes, when is ESPN hosting its beer dye tournament? I think you and Slee could win it all. You'd be good at it.
Yeah.
You'd be good at it. We need to figure out what the how to break it up because it took us like one pickleball match to figure out how we.
Well, I was
going to
say,
this
is
up.
this like pickleball where you just dominate the net and I'm just hitting anything else that gets past you?
But what we would do is I think we'd do like we'd break it into thirds.
Okay.
You need to cover 2/3. If I only had to cover a third, I think I'd be a little better. You can cover 2/3 easily, I think, because Bobby was basically having to cover like 3/4 of it, and because he's he's pretty quick and all these. But I think you'd be good
practicing.
at it. I think we'd be good at it. Get a couple of ultras in you, and I think that much like pickleball, you're ready to go.
That's all you need. Just
so
ultras.
you want to hire Dave Roberts for the Padres? Is that what you want?
Let me tell you what's happening here. Okay. By the way, what a what show down in San Diego. So right after the Padres get eliminated, they hold a presser. Everybody, we obviously broke down the presser from the Dodgers with Andrew Friedman, which was last week. Padres do the same thing. They just got to do theirs a little earlier because they didn't make the playoffs because they have a $400 million payroll. So A.J. Preller said that Bob Melvin's coming back. Bob Melvin has a quote out there and says something to the effect of like, yeah, I'm going to be coming back. But I don't know how sold everybody was.
You didn't believe it at the time.
No, because there was also a reporter out of San Francisco saying that this is, Kapler obviously gets booted right before the season ends. He has history in the Bay Area, also has history, I think, has also history with the GM up in San Francisco.
Farhan Zaidi.
There you go. Okay, so then a report comes out that I think yesterday it came out during all the football games that the Padres have allowed Bob Melvin to interview or seeks permission or whatever. The Giants were seeking permission from the Padres.
And the Padres thumbs up.
They said yes. So that doesn't usually happen, and then you end up going back to the team that you're at. And by the way, this is part of A.J. Preller's thing. A.J. Preller's had a lot of different managers over the course of the tenure that he's been there. Third longest tenure as GM so far in Major League Baseball. What justifies that? I don't know what that is. So it looks like Melvin might have a good chance of going up and staying within the division. Hey, this is relative to the Dodgers. It's relative to the Padres. I mean, this is Bob Melvin's had a long history.
Sure.
And he might be managing the Giants. Let me ask this question to you. If I said, what percentage do you think of Dodger fans would have preferred that the Dodgers made a change at manager? If I said that just you put out a poll and it was Dodger fans that are out there, do you want to see a change that remove Dave Roberts? This isn't a question, is Dave Roberts good, is he not, is this? It's
time for a change.
Is it time for a change? What percentage of Dodger fans would say, let's replace the manager?
I would think it's between 60 and 65%.
Okay. So, by the way, we put one up. Parker put one up. It's around 60%.
Yeah.
Around 60%.
That's a pretty good guess by me
Pretty
this
damn
morning.
good guess.
Yeah.
Which, actually, I got to be honest with you, that's lower than I thought. I really actually thought it would be more. We spent how much time in this market, and this is even you. You said the Lance Lynn moment was the last straw for you, that he kept him in there. I think there are plenty straws before that. You have Andrew Friedman saying, is this really the narrative? Is Dave Roberts making the decisions? Every single year that the Dodgers lose, the finger is pointed at Dave Roberts before it's pointed anywhere else. Fair or not, it's Dave Roberts is getting the brunt of it. Why don't the San Diego Padres ask the same permission that the San Francisco Giants asked for Bob Melvin for an interview? And the reason why I'm asking this is because, I don't know, the Dodgers could easily say, no, he's not going anywhere. That's it. The conversation's over. My question to you is, how does Dave Roberts feel to be the
meat shield?
The piñata after every year. This is your fault. You're doing it. The poll that I just mentioned, there's 60% of Dodger fans out there saying it's your fault. It's Chris Morales saying enough of Dave Roberts and breaking his bobblehead and everything else. Everything that the Dodgers do, the finger is pointed at Dave Roberts. We were having a conversation last week. Do we know how good of a manager Dave Roberts is? Or is Dave Roberts also just been given these unbelievable resources and anyone can go do that? The Padres seem to me like the perfect organization. Dave Roberts lives in San Diego. Dave Roberts, I think, went to school in San Diego. I think we said Vista High School and things like that. He's obviously has connections to San Diego. Why don't they put a little pressure on the Los Angeles Dodgers and maybe Dodger fans get what they want, which is a new manager? I just look at Dave Roberts and say, here he is in a market where no matter what he does, it can't go right unless you win a World Series, which I don't think he's shying away from that. I think he probably loves all those expectations. But if he left tomorrow and he went down to the San Diego Padres while Bob Melvin is going up to the San Francisco Giants, and who knows what happens with Gabe Kapler. You said Kapler that at least
he was a finalist for the Dodger job when it was open last time.
I'm not saying we got these musical chairs going on, but if you're the Padres, why not put a little pressure on the Dodgers and see how bad they want him as their manager?
I'm glad you phrased it the way you did because they can't put pressure on the Dodgers. Dodgers don't care. They don't care what their fans think about this particular issue. They don't care what the media thinks about it. The Dodgers very clearly have zero interest in moving on from Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts clearly has zero interest in moving on from the Dodgers because, to your earlier point, Al, if everybody's like, oh, my gosh, he did it again. What an absolute disaster. How could Dave be blah, 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 blah. At some point, if you're not making the decisions and everybody's calling you a knucklehead, you're going to say, guys, my hands are a little bit tied here. Whether you do it publicly or behind closed doors, you're going to put that out there. That's really never happened either. The Padres can't. They can say, "Hey, we'd like to, go pound sand." No.
What if Dave Roberts says, "I want to interview for that job"?
That's different. But if he wanted out, I think we would have heard things about this prior to this. It's an interesting idea.
Can I say
the Dodgers can't be leveraged in this department because they don't give a damn.
It's not leveraging the Dodgers. You're right. The Dodgers don't give a damn. It's literally not leveraging the Dodgers. But I think if I'm Dave Roberts, this is just interesting to me. I live in San Diego. The San Diego Padres have an owner that's willing to spend money. There's a roster out there that was probably one of the most disappointing rosters in I don't know how many different years. Look at all the talent in San Diego, and I'm not going to get blamed the way I'm blamed every single year as a Los Angeles Dodgers manager. Is it not? If there's any predicament or situation out there, is there not at least a little bit of interest for Dave Roberts to say, that might be interesting down there?
Maybe, but I think I'll use another analogy here. He's both the Dodgers to Dave and Dave to the Dodgers. They're so pot committed at this point that neither one can really say, is this guy's problem. They're both in this together. They've both been in this relationship where it's, symbiotic to the point where, we're going to collaborate on some of these decisions, but when it comes time for criticism, it's more you than it is me, and you need to do this. I think they both know that this will come to an end at some point. Obviously, it's not going to come to an end at the end of this season. He's going to be here for next year. It'll happen at some point, and then I think you'll get a little bit more of what you're talking about. But they're committed to each other. For better or for worse, the Dodgers have no interest in moving on, and I've never, not for 1 second, got it. And again, I talked to some folks that know some things.
Sure.
Dave does not want to go anywhere. Dave is not unhappy with the status of this relationship at all.
If you don't have any consequences, why would you want to leave?
because you're getting blamed for something you didn't do.
You're getting
I think is
demolished
your point.
every day on the LA Times, on here, by fans everywhere.
Yeah, but I do think that there's a certain type of person that's willing to be the man. I'll take the blame, and when it is my fault, I don't care, and when it's not my fault, I also don't care. That's that's part of the job. He's pretty well compensated. He also gets you're talking about the roster in San Diego, and you're not wrong.
Yeah.
But the Dodgers are always going to do everything they can to put together an A-plus product.
Andrew Friedman will run circles around A.J. Preller. I'm not making that
No,
argument.
I know, but just you're right that the Padres do have good players, but they don't have better players than the Dodgers. And if the Dodgers would ever fall a little bit behind, they'd fix it as quickly as they could.
It's kind of funny.
Other than I don't want the blame anymore, there's nothing in it for Dave.
I think Dave could also. How many years have you been Dodger manager?
8
years.
Yeah.
You can also walk away saying I won more games than any other manager in the regular season.
Highest regular season winning percentage.
That's what I meant. Yep.
Real quick.
Yep.
Ever.
Okay. And whether you look, however you want to look at 2020, it was a World Series. He has a World Series under his belt as well. Is there? If he walked away tomorrow, I mean, yes, it is less than what he hoped to accomplish, but it's not like he didn't accomplish anything as a Dodgers manager.
Somebody on Twitter sent this out earlier, and I think it's an interesting way to look at it. If you said, okay, you're going to fire Dave Roberts today, the guy that you hire over his 8 years is going to give you 8 playoff appearances. You're going to go to the World Series 3 times, and you're going to win 1. You want that? Would you? I mean, Dodger fans, if somebody said you will get in the next 8 years, you will make the playoffs every season, you will go to the World Series 3 times, and you're going to win 1. You want to do that?
Okay, here's my question.
Everybody would say yes to that.
But here's my question to that. Here's my question to that. Then we're going to go back to, well, how much of that should Dave get the credit for? Because if I told you that a different manager is walking in, and he has what Andrew Friedman's given him every single night or every single season, the resume speaks for itself. But if I also tell you that the Dodgers won X amount of games every single year, and this is what their playoff record looked like, you'd also look at it and say, yeah, that didn't go the way it should have gone.
On the blame side, I've kind of moved on to it's their fault. Like the ustedes, right? It's all of you guys. It's not just you or you. It's all of you.
All those.
Right. Because you guys are clearly in this together. You've put together a roster that was at least flawed in the postseason with the pitching and everything else. We could talk about that probably at some point tomorrow. And Dave's making in-game decisions, if in fact he is, that are kind of inexplicable.
Really the narrative?
Well, this is the thing. Andrew Friedman is obviously incredibly bright, right? He was a very intelligent man. But if the same question is the first question every single year, yes, that's the narrative. And no matter how many times you tell us no, we still think yes, because this doesn't make any sense. Because if these were exclusively his decisions,
well, and you've said that those are fireable offenses.
Leaving Lance Lynn in for home runs 3 and 4 was a fireable. If that happened against the A's in May, you'd be like, they got to think about firing him for that. That was that bad. It was just such a stupid decision that a guy that had given up at that point 44 home runs gives up number 45. All right, whatever. Number 46, he's got to come out.
What if it came down to that?
47 and 48?
What if it came down? That was the
and really
last
49.
That was the last straw that it happened in May against the A's, and they're like, "That's it, he's gone."
Good.
Wait, all the other times.
Then we finally got there, and we can finally do it. One more college football corner coming up with producer M. That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Return of $1 Million Mondays.
$1 Million Mondays.
Your chance to win $1 million from 710 ESPN.
Listen every Monday this football season for your chance at $1 million. $1 Million Mondays.
Presented by Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play.
Listen every Monday to 710 ESPN. When you hear the cue to call, be caller number 7. Give us your Super Bowl prediction. Both teams and the final score, and you could be winning $1 million this football season on LA's $1 Million Mega Sports Station. 710 ESPN.
What's up, Niner fans? Join me, producer Jorge, at Hollywood Park Casino Monday night at 5 p.m. for Monday Night Football as our Niners take on the Vikings, and you'll get 3 shots to win $1 million on our $1 Million Monday contest. And just bring your ponchos, bring your flags, bring all your swag, and let's go, baby! Niners, Niner gang, baby!
So College Football Corner for this segment is going to be more about officiating than it is about either of these teams, okay? So just follow me with this one. So first up, we're going to talk about Minnesota and Iowa. So Minnesota defeated Iowa 12-10, which is a very Iowa score.
That's the most Iowa score ever.
Yes, but Minnesota defeated
6-0
Iowa.
San Diego State, Nevada.
But I'm going to play you, this is at the end of the game. So the Minnesota punted to Iowa, and Iowa almost exclusively scores off of defense and special teams. So Minnesota punts the ball to Iowa. Iowa is receiving the punt at around like the 30-ish. I'm going to play the call in a second. But the Iowa player is signaling with his hand and is saying, oh, the ball's going to come over this way. He's pointing to where the ball's going to go to, essentially telling his teammates, this is where I'm going to go and block for me.
Okay.
And he doesn't do the traditional wave off of the
yeah, it's usually
fair
like
catch.
Over your head.
Yeah, is where it should be. So I'm going to play this call of the Iowa punt return.
High end over end punt. DeJean not going to touch it until now. Little spin down the sideline. Got some space. Here he comes. DeJean cuts it back. 25. He's got a chance. He scores. And I don't see a foot out of bounds.
Would have won the game.
After reviewing the play, the returner waved his left hand, which is an invalid fair catch signal. Therefore, by rule, the ball became dead upon recovery. The ball be placed at the 46-yard line. Clock operator, please reset the game clock to 1 minute 33 seconds. 1:33, please. Thank you.
All right. So yes, they would have had Iowa still would have the ball with 1:33 left, but it they ended up not winning the game because they weren't able to score because they can't score in offense. Yes, because they're Iowa. They would have won that game if not. So I'm going to go again to another bad officiating mistake, and then I'm going to ask you a question at the other end of it. But this is from a familiar voice. This is between Pitt and Wake Forest. Wake Forest ended up beating Pitt 21-17.
Bayer keeps it. He's got the first down. Slides. Oh, wait a second. He may have started to slide short of the first down from where he slid. Let's take a look.
As the runner was short of the line to gain, it's fourth down.
How close he was. So where does he begin his slide? Ooh.
See, that's the trick, right? It's always about where do you initially start to pull up and where that football is.
All right, so let me set the stage of that, and also that was our own George Sedano on the call there for the ACC action. So Pitt had the ball, and it was like less than 2 minutes left on the clock. So their quarterback runs, slides, thinking he has the first down. If he gets the first down, yes, you ice the game. You can go and kneel it out, and you're good. Instead, they mark him short.
Sure.
Even though he probably wasn't short.
Okay.
And they do not convert on those. They give it back to Wake Forest. Wake Forest ends up beating Pitt. So it ends up being Pitt 21-17. So these are two massive mistakes. Obviously, we saw some with the Rams, too, this weekend.
Yep.
There's two massive mistakes from officiating. And that's the worst way to lose, right?
It is. It's because it's so unsatisfying. It doesn't feel like you lost. It feels like it was taken from you. And there's a huge difference between those two things. If you are an athlete, if you're a competitor, you're going to lose, and you're going to lose a lot. It's just the nature of athletics. You're going to get beat. But when there's a rule thing or a bad call and somebody wins on a technicality or a bad call, that feels like it just got ripped away from you. Like you didn't even have a chance to compete for it, that some procedural administrative error is what prevented you from doing it. Now, I have not seen the Pitt Wake Forest game you're talking about, but the second that guy starts to slide, it's where the ball is. It's not where his butt hits. It's not where his knee hits. The second he starts to surrender himself, that's where the ball is. You need to put your face in there and go occasionally. Matthew Stafford did it yesterday with the Rams, that he got out and he was running for that thing, and you could tell, if I slide, I'm not getting there. I got to put my shoulder in and go. You can't do it a million times, but occasionally you got to stick your nose in there, and that dude needed to stick his nose in there.
The worst part about it, he didn't need to slide. He just thought he was staying in bounds. So all he had to do, if he went, he could have easily. I'm not saying there wasn't nobody around him, but he could have took another 1 yard, 2 yards. Let me just make sure, and then slid, and it got to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he wanted to stay in bounds to keep the clock rolling, and it just ended up biting them.
Okay, can I just be a bad old man for a second?
Sure.
Stop him on the other side?
No. Both of these are the results of them trying to protect players. Both of these calls are the result of player safety getting to the point where you can't hit anybody anymore. That a guy just barely moves his hand, we're going to call that a flare catch because, and I get it, you don't want to get a punt returner who maybe doesn't demonstrably signal enough.
Because sometimes they fake it a little bit.
They do.
Oh, I've seen that, which by the way is genius. The faking the slide
until you get one under your chin and you
might
get your teeth
one under
knocked
your
out.
chin. Yep.
And the sliding point, you can't hit a guy. So guys start pulling up, guys start sliding. That this is both weird calls in the interests of player safety. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have them, but both of those are the result of, hey, listen, man, we're trying to protect you. Help us help you, not get your head taken off.
Well, the only thing you don't want in a lot of these cases, college or the NFL, that's why when somebody barely hits a quarterback and you're called for a roughing the passer, that's what kills these rules. Because all you're asking for is that dude that connected helmet to helmet was a cheap shot, maybe took his entire weight down so that the quarterback is under him and he just pounds into the floor. There's a reason why you want those penalties. And in some cases, when it's just it's such a light play on a quarterback, you're like, don't call it here.
Those plays are not going to end up on my 35th wedding anniversary video when I go back to watch the most vicious hits of the 2020s. They will not be in there.
I watch the most gentle hits, and it's just setting the guy down.
The worst calls in the history of the NFL. Emily said something earlier about you think it's a better gig to be a head coach in the college game than the pro game.
Yeah, because I think you have usually more leeway. You're the king of whatever town you're in, for one, if you're winning. And you have usually more stability. Like you stay a longer time in college football, even if you're not as good, because you probably lose a little less than if you do in the NFL. And the NFL really churns out people.
The timeline, I think, depends on where you go, right? If you go to USC or you go to, some of these other places that are the Georgias of the world, Florida States, like if you don't turn it around pretty quick, they're going to move on.
Yeah.
Here's why I hear what you're saying, and this
they usually get big contracts.
They do, but so do the NFL guys get paid pretty well too. But here's why I tend to go the other way a little bit. You get adults in the NFL. Right? I don't have to worry about you doing things that 19-year-old guys do that are dumb. I don't have to constantly re-recruit you every single season. I don't have to go shake some guy that owns a series of car dealerships' hands and make him feel like he's the most important guy in my life because I need him to build me a new weight room. The head coach is as much of a fundraiser and a CEO and anything else, and going in to tell this 17-year-old man, you're the greatest thing I've ever seen, knowing that he's not, but I got to make him feel a certain way to get him to come here, and he might leave in a year anyway. In the NFL, I got an X amount of money. I'm going to spend it this much. I got this. I don't have to go, other than my owner and my general manager, I don't have to kiss any ass. I just have to do a good job. It's 9 to 5 in the sense that it's kind of a normal schedule. I'm not on an airplane recruiting constantly. I get the idea of you could get clipped at any time, and you're right about that, but not having to deal with knuckleheads and administrators and boosters, I would like to skip all of that.
There is something about, like we talked about it earlier, SC lost to Utah, so Kyle Whittingham, I'll use him as an example. Whittingham, I think, is in a situation where kind of owns – there aren't too many college situations like this. But the fact that he's a legend for Utah and that there is no reason for him to go bounce around and I'm just doing this to go get the next job, or if you're in the NFL, it's you're a coordinator and then you become a head coach, and then 2 years into your 4-year deal, they're like, okay, you're out of here, and now are you going to be one of those coaches that gets that other opportunity?
You got to go be a coordinator first, then you get your second opportunity.
It's going to be a little bit of that. The college coaches, you're right and it's a good way to explaining it. I got to go recruit every year. I got to go do this. I got to go do boosters, all that.
Asked all these people every day.
But he's probably done this and is such a legend there that there is a little bit of like, I'm good.
Those don't happen very often.
No, they don't.
There can't be a handful of those guys.
There's not many of them.
But also, if you're good at recruiting, you will crush everybody every year. You'll have like 1 or 2 losses because the parity, the difference between a really good, well-recruited team and getting all the best players and another team is vast. In the NFL, it's so like you could be handed a bad GM that gives you bad players. But also, another good thing about college football coaching is that you could be like Jimbo Fisher and have a massive buyout that they can't fire you.
That's Jimbo Fisher just having a better agent than whoever the AD at A&M was. That he just outsmarted that guy.
There's a big buyout for Ed Orgeron in LSU, too.
That's what I mean. These guys just have really good agents that can take this stuff together. I don't want to have to tell some guy, well, why aren't you playing this guy? Because I'm the coach and you sell cars, dude. That's why. Stop telling me who I should play and who I shouldn't play. I do this for a living. I wouldn't tell you how to run your business. I would lose my mind 5 minutes after that. I couldn't do it. I'd much rather say, hey, you only won 7 games instead of 10. You're fired. Okay, I'll go be a coordinator again, deal with adults all over again. Like that constant. Imagine going in. I trying to think who this. Oh, Ben Howland, the former head coach at UCLA, told me this. He goes, man, you don't know what it's like having to go in there and tell these guys, that I have to pretend that you're the most important person in my life for a few minutes because I got to go make sure that I get the best players, like Emily's saying, because if I don't, they're going to go over here and they're going to go over there.
And then there's no guarantee when they come in that he is the best player.
Right. None. He almost certainly won't be.
Yeah.
There'll almost certainly be another guy out there that's that way. All right. Hot and cold coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
All right, Sierra Subaru of Monrovia. They had an awesome event on Saturday, and this was all about a pet adoption event that they did over at the dealership. I'm going to make my way right after the show. I'm going to head to Sierra Subaru of Monrovia. That was just one event. Their pet adoption event was just one of many outreach events they got going on a monthly basis. This is what I love about this partnership with Sierra Subaru of Monrovia. The Love Promise initiatives that Subaru is a part of, and of course, Sierra Subaru of Monrovia. During the month of October, you could join us now. This is what I'm going to do right after the show. Subaru Loves Pets Initiative. Stuff a Subi is the goal to find a Subaru vehicle full of pet supplies. With your help and donations, we can make a significant impact on the life of rescue dogs and cats through pet rescue solutions. So there is donations all month long. Just stop by the dealership literally after the show. I'll be doing this as well. Looking forward. There's a lot of items that I got, some food items, some toys for obviously this pet rescue solutions. Just go to sierrasubaru.com for more information or visit them off the 210 and 605 freeway.
Gen. Next Gen, the official AC, heat, and plumbing company of SoCal sports fans.
You're as cold as ice.
Call 833-3-NEXTGEN, NEXGEN, or visit nextgenairandplumbing.com. Time for our feature we do 3 days a week at 12:30 p.m. Who's hot? Who's cold? Thanks to NextGen. And today for Who's Hot, how about those tight ends? Take it away, Producer M.
And it's not for the reason you think. It's not for him. It's because yesterday was National Tight Ends Day.
He had a good day, though.
He did have a great day. I have him in fantasy. Got me 35 points. Thank you, sir. But the NFL released a tight end rap. And from the video that was released, it's made to believe that George Kittle is singing in this, but I don't know if it's for sure. So don't quote me on who's actually singing in this, but it does sound like him. So they released a rap of tight ends, and I'm going to play it for you guys right now.
We move, we pivot, we catch a pass and we hit it. Just grooves, no gimmicks. We the tight ends, let's get it. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. We the tight ends, we mean business. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. Block, catch, release, spike, and win. Y'all, we the tight ends, it's our day.
So that's Kittle, allegedly?
Please tell me not.
Like Gronk against, we run this game. We the greatest on the field. Snap, and we pivot. It's the tight end crew. Yeah, we the slickest. We move, we pivot. We catch.
Oh, yeah, that's Higbee.
Just grooves, no gimmicks. We
More raps than catches.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. We the tight ends. We mean business.
I didn't make up the stats.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
All right, so that is in the video that's released, I have a bunch of the tight ends in the league that are featured in it. The tight ends are the closest group, I feel like, of all the position groups. They have tight end university and everything. So what's hot? Tight ends in the NFL. What do you guys think of that?
That is going to age very, very poorly.
It's already started.
Yeah, like they play this thing at Rams games. You've seen it, Em. The Ram It video from like 1987 where they go, let's ram it. And
but they all know it's corny.
I know,
they
but so it wasn't corny in the 80s. They were doing it for real.
Wait. Is this the Billboard thing of like over under 440 or something like that? Is that what we're doing here?
This Ram It.
But this, I think, the tight ends know this was corny. And Chris McCaffrey's in the car in the video, like, why don't the running backs have a song?
Yeah.
Yes, they know it's corny, and they're trying to have fun.
Just ram it.
Actually kind of hits.
It's of its time. This has a very 1980s sensibility
Big time
to it.
80s. I could like see the video, and I don't even need to see anything.
They're doing this a lot, Sleep.
That makes sense.
And when they get they start rapping, they got like, oh man, it's funny.
It's a lot. It's
but
a lot.
I thought it's very funny. And the tight ends have a good sense of humor. At least the star tight ends that we have right now, I think, have a pretty good sense of humor.
Kelsey, who else is the next best in that?
Kelsey, Kittle, there's Hawkinson, there's
Dallas Goedert's having a good year. The Andrews guy is really good. Ertz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some guys
We
out
need
there.
to get Higbee in there. We need to get him more catches. We need to do something.
I'm shocked Higbee was not starting that song.
Just got a new deal. He should be in there.
And now time for Who's Cold, the Pittsburgh accent.
All right, y'all, yinzers. I said that really poorly, so sorry, guys. But so there is a video that came out this weekend of a official calling a game. I believe it was high school. I'm not sure if it's high school or college, but it's in the Pittsburgh area. And he has a very distinct Pittsburgh accent. If you don't know what it is, here's what it sounds like.
5-yard penalty, still first down. Defense, number 6, 15-yard penalty, the result, first down.
First down.
Face mask, defense. That penalty be assessed on the kickoff. The extra point is good. Still first down. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. The result of the play will be a first down. Replay first down.
Sounds like a Saturday Night Live.
15 yards from the end of the run.
Bingo.
First down. Personal foul, defense, number 58. 15 yards from the end of the run. Result,
First down.
First down. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
It's the foul, too, that got me.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know how I've made it this far in my life and have never heard a Pittsburgh accent until just now. Did you know that was a thing?
I did not know. Why doesn't down have an N? First down.
No, it's down.
It's like
it's the
D-A-H,
first down.
da.
It's DAHN. Yin's guys
Da.
go downtown.
Yeah.
First down.
Because look, I've heard a million different types of Southern accents. You know a Boston accent.
Yeah,
you know a New York
either.
accent. You know a Minnesota accent. You know a Chicago accent.
Yep.
You know a Wisconsin accent.
Your
you know
Belinda.
all of these things, right? That's Costa Mesa. Costa Mesa is where Austin Butler's from, and it's a subsection of Savannah, Georgia.
Mesa.
Memphis Street.
I've never heard a Texas accent, a Texas drawl. Like all of these places have these. I've
know
never
what the hell
heard
that was.
that.
Never
And
heard
that's
that.
penalty, still first down.
that's crazy.
It's a good one, too.
It's
Still
take
first
it easy,
down.
Slee.
You should do it with your jacket on.
First down.
Yeah, still first down.
Yinzers?
Got the foul.
That means y'all get a first down, Yinzers.
By the way.
No, you say Yins guys. Yins guys got a first down.
Guys?
Yeah.
Do they not have schools in Pittsburgh?
Yes, they do. They have fine schools in Pittsburgh. They have Carnegie Mellon. They have Pitt. They have St.
Have 'em all.
Scholastica, which is where my mom went to school, a Catholic school, and Yins guys got to
Teach
get educated.
enunciation and grammar in these places.
But it's almost like a combination of like a Chicago, like a Midwestern with a little bit of I don't even know what accent. There's a lot of Polish immigrants also in Pittsburgh, so maybe it's some Polish.
Maybe,
I don't
okay,
know.
all right.
Two things.
Pierogies.
Two things I learned
Pierogies are good.
Two things I've learned so far: John and first down.
5-yard penalty, still first down.
I think I've mentioned to you guys. My Bobby's girlfriend is in grad school in Philly, and so I thought I was going to lay some knowledge on him with the John. He's like, I've been saying that for 5 years. I'm like, what? Like he goes, yeah. He saw it on like a TV show or something, and he and his. I'm like, how?
Bobby
have I
was
missed
not
all of
impressed.
this? He was
not
totally
impressed at all.
unimpressed.
Yeah.
I heard more ridiculous slang this weekend in San Diego for family weekend than I thought it was even humanly possible. Just nonsense. Just absolute nonsense. Who's Hot and Who's Cold is brought to you by NextGen. NextGen, the official AC heat and plumbing company of SoCal sports fans. Call 8333-NEXTGen or visit nextgenairandplumbing.com. It's one of my favorite things. You guys know this. I love to use slang incorrectly. So I very aggressively used the wrong slang with Kelly's friends, and the looks on their faces made my entire weekend.
What? Can you give me? Do you have an example?
I can't because I would basically just parrot what they had said to each other back at them. So I can't even come up with the
On God.
On God, low key, for real, no cap. Like what?
I love how you
For real?
and that's probably how you used. That was one full sentence right there.
That was a full sentence.
It's good.
It's kind of low key on God. What? What?
It's kind of so low key on God is it's on the low profile. It's like like not really, but low key, and then on God is like totally. So like I went to go see John and John last night. It's kind of low key on God.
Okay, I always thought on God. I thought on God was like I swear to instead of saying that. That's
you
what
swear
it is.
on God. So you're saying I swear it was low key.
Cap. It was a lot.
Low key, that's sus.
Yeah, sus.
Sus is big.
I can't stop watching that guy. I've told you about him, right? That like probably 35-year-old, 40-year-old, whatever he is, on Instagram, and he's pretending to be a kid in high school, and just the way he walks and everything. He's like he's at the I don't know where. Like let's say he's at a Staples or something, and his girl is recording him pretending to be the mom. And he's asking to get these pencils and this, and she's like, "No, you can't do that." He's like, "You tripping? You bugging? You this?" And he's got. It's just so stupid, but it's hilarious.
Every older generation makes fun of the younger.
They all got
generation.
them, and I'm sure I had them. Like we had plenty of our own stupid stuff as well, but it literally is a foreign language.
Oh,
Rad,
God.
totally.
Rad, bitchin'.
Yep,
that was another one. Yeah, on God.
I still
low
use
key
those every day.
For real,
Sus.
no cap. Very sus. The Dump is next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
All right, stuffed crust pizza is back, and Pizza Hut is dropping the price for a limited time. You can order a one-topping Pizza Hut original stuffed crust pizza for just $13.99. It's a winning play. It's only at Pizza Hut. Order now and earn rewards for your next free pizza on the Pizza Hut app or at pizzahut.com. Again, just $13.99.
You never have to miss a moment of LA's.
What's up, Niner fans? Join me, producer Jorge, at Hollywood Park Casino Monday night at 5 p.m. for Monday Night Football as our Niners take on the Vikings, and you'll get 3 shots to win $1 million on our $1 Million Monday contest. And just bring your ponchos, bring your flags, bring all your swag, and let's go, baby! Niners, Niner gang, baby!
Big news, Laker fans. John Ireland here. You can now stream every Lakers game on the ESPN LA app. Don't miss a second of the action with Michael Thompson and I on the call. Plus, all your live and local Lakers talk every day in the palm of your hand.
You're one tap away from everything Lakers.
You could even win Lakers tickets.
Download the ESPN LA app. And bam!
Download the ESPN LA app at the App Store and Google Play.
All right, fools, you know the deal. 5 p.m. today, Niner fans especially. Niners, Vikings, Monday Night Football.
Did you just uninvite Tiffany?
Yeah. She keeps texting me like all these pictures of the Vikings. I'm like,
she's
Tiffany,
in.
No, she stays. She can't come.
This guy's never been a bigger Vikings fan than tonight.
Look, I just need him
to get the points.
They can lose. I just need him to lose by less than 7. I don't really care.
5 p.m. today, Hollywood Park Casino. Monday Night Football watch party, Niners, Vikings, and then you'll have a shot at $1 million for our $1 Million Monday contest. I got it.
Yeah,
there you go.
It only took 3 hours.
Well, a whole week.
Yeah, exactly.
But today, 5 p.m., Hollywood Park Casino once again. Let's come join me. Watch the Niners against the Vikings, and hopefully I win the week. With exactly.
It'll either be you or me.
Yep.
If Minnesota covers, then it's me. If San Francisco covers, it's you.
Yeah. So once again, 5 p.m. Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, and play.
Okay, I got a quick plug as well. So we'll have the Game 7 tonight of the ALCS. It's obviously Astros and the Rangers. After that, we'll air the Lakers talk tonight. So Lakers talk will be a little bit later tonight, and then we also started today. Lakers Talk Daily back again on YouTube, so we'll continue to do that 5 days a week. So just a heads up on that. Lakers season starts tomorrow, obviously.
I'm excited. Tomorrow night should be fun. To get to play the defending
Early
champs.
game, 4:30, I think, tip-off. They're going to be the first game of the season, and then Golden State will play Phoenix after
Ring
that.
game, too, for
Ring
Nuggets?
game, yep.
That's going to be
get
fun.
their banner up.
That's going to be fun. We'll talk a lot of Lakers tomorrow, getting ready for the opening game. I want to go back to something you said, Slee. It's Game 7 of the ALCS tonight. It's Game 6 of the NLCS as well. Arizona, Texas, Philly, and Houston. The last 4 teams standing. One's going 7, one's going at least 6, right? Those 4 teams have fought like hell through this series. All 4 of them. Like, it felt like Arizona was on the verge of just being flicked out.
Remember
in 4
game
games.
2, they lost 10-0?
It was a joke. You're like, okay. When you look back at how quietly the Dodgers went and how the rest of these games have been played, and again, my Dodger wound is still open. It's still bleeding. It hasn't scarred over. But you watch these. Arizona could have easily rolled over and said, hey, we got to the NLCS. We're so far above and beyond where we're supposed to be. We house money for sure. They're still playing.
I know.
They're still playing. It's Game 6, and they can win tonight,
All right. Okay.
And Texas and Houston, every road team has won this game.
It's been an unbelievable series.
It's been a terrific series, and I can't root any harder against the Astros than I am.
Sure.
But it's just these games are back. Altuve hits that home run in Game 5 that was just
Texas
unreal.
comes back yesterday.
Everything.
Puts up 9.
And I don't really care who wins the World Series, as long as it's not Houston. That's really my only priority at this point. But watching the way that those teams are competing and watching how – and I don't want to make it sound like the Dodger players didn't care, because I don't think that's the case. But damn if it didn't look like they didn't care. It just went so quietly.
No, there's a little bit of you get punched and do you lay down, and I felt like the Dodgers laid down compared to the other teams. I was talking to Greg this morning. Greg mentioned – you and Greg were talking about this last week, Bergman, right? You're mentioning last week. I heard you guys saying something about how he's not watching these playoff games.
Yeah,
right? Like he just doesn't.
Greg is a Dodger fan first, and then whatever else after that.
So I went to him. He was actually letting me know yesterday. He's letting Funches and I know, hey guys, because it's going Game 7, Lakers talk's going to be a little bit later. So I came in this morning and I'm like, bro, how good is this series? And I know that he had said what he said, but I'm like, wait, so you're not even watching this series? Wait. We got Game 7 tonight. You're not watching Game 7? He's like, no.
Yeah.
I don't know where you are on that.
Oh, no, I watch them.
I'm watching these damn games.
I watch them all. I hate watch them, but I'm watching them.
That's okay. I'm with you. I'm still watching
I love
them.
baseball. I love playoff baseball.
The playoff baseball is as good as you. I think this was one of the questions that you're talking about. Playoff hockey, being at an event, one of those, and it's so. Playoff baseball is freaking amazing.
It's terrific unless it's a Dodger game, and then it's quiet and it's moribund and nothing feels like it's going to go that
one
way.
for
You went to a
21.
hockey game this weekend.
I did.
How was it?
It was fun. It was fun, especially against Boston.
Did you go with the family?
I took Brenda, Maite, and then two of Brenda's cousins and their daughter. So we had a fun time.
Do you go a lot to hockey games?
Here and there.
Okay.
Yeah, we try to go. I try to take them out at least 2 baseball, 2 hockey, two something. But there was a fight during the game inside, like
on the ice.
Yeah, exactly, on the ice. And then at one point, Maite's like, "Hey, let's go get some ice cream." I'm like, "Cool, let's go get some ice cream." We're coming back after the second intermission, and then 3 minutes in the game, the crowd goes wild, and Maite's running, and she's gonna cry. I'm like, "What are you doing? What's wrong with you?" She's like, "I don't know who scored." I was like, "That was cute. That was a cute moment." She's concerned about who's scoring in the game now.
It's super exciting, and the fights are nobody. Max used to say this all the time. Nobody gets up and goes and get a beer in the middle of a fight.
Oh no,
it's like, let's wait for this to end before we decide.
Everyone's
what we're
on their feet.
Oh yeah, it's exciting. And if your guy gets the better end of it, the place goes nuts. It's awesome.
All right, so this is news in the NFL. So Titans have confirmed that they are trading Kevin Byard, all-pro defensive player, to the Eagles, and then Tennessee gets Terrell Edmonds, who was featured in that video last week at the Phillies game that he went to go in spirit.
Oh man!
Yeah, so Terrell Edmonds and a fifth/sixth in exchange for the all-pro safety. So someone's making moves, and it's the Eagles. The Eagles are going all in.
That video of the 2 players at the Phillies playoff game.
It was Swift and Edmonds.
Yeah. It was one of the sweetest videos I've seen. 2 guys just having a great time, just completely comfortable, watching something that they didn't quite understand.
Asking questions.
But having a ball doing it. I must have gone home and watched that another 3 or 4 times. It's just absolutely terrific. The Dolphins, who got beat up by the Eagles last night, they're going to be the subject of in-season hard knocks. So
it was Cardinals last year. It's Dolphins this year.
Yeah. Look, Hard Knocks is an iconic show. It kind of was a genre-defining show where they kind of took you inside and all of these things. It's incredibly well produced. It's well done in every possible aspect. I've seen it. You know what I mean? I that just feels like one of those shows that I there's not a lot left unless there's some. I don't even want to say this, but like if they were there with the Dolphins last year with Tua having to go, like, okay, that would be interesting. The decision making and his health and all this stuff. But just checking in again with guys at football practice just does not move.
The only way I'm going to watch this is they cut a 30-second clip and I'm scrolling through Twitter and something's on there. That's it.
Like what, though? What are you trying to see? Like, what would you like to see that would pique your interest?
I can't even tell you what it is. I'm just saying that's the only – it's got to be that simple. It's got to be right in front of me. It's got to be just part of my scrolling, maybe something that went viral, whatever it is. But the fact that I would go and actually go see a Hard Knocks episode, not going to happen.
The last one I really paid attention to was the Jeff Fisher one when they came out here.
Yeah, me too.
That was the last one that I was like, okay, I'm into this. And after that, I just checked out.
Because it's also the collapse of it. It's the all or nothing.
And it was also – there was a hook in that was really interesting. It was a team in the process of relocating to a different city. Yep. It wasn't just, okay, here's the team, here's the guy that's your star, here's the guy that might get cut, here's the head coach, here's the owner firing people.
And the introduction of Sean McVay. At the end of that series, Sean McVay walks in, and you don't know what he's going to be, and obviously we find out what Sean McVay is going to be later, but the end of that series, it's just, you see almost a glamour shot of Sean walking through the building being like, this is all mine, and then you see what happened.
I think if they get rid of this Hard Knocks one and they just give us sound effects, because, they have us.
That's a cool show.
That's a cool one.
Yeah.
With just sound effects from the game and everything like we didn't hear from the bench. I think
what is very cool, when I was an intern there, I occasionally got to go shadow different people around the building. So I would go and I sit in the sound mixers booth, and it's like almost like this big amphitheater, and they taught me about how they create the sound, how they do the pads hitting, how they do the mic'd ups and that stuff. That's really, really interesting, and that's one of the coolest things that I got to see there.
One of my favorite parts is when 2 guys on the opposite different teams just stop and have a conversation with each other in the middle of the game. There was in the moment in the Rams game yesterday where the Steelers thought that they were going to get a first down on a holding penalty, so they started moving the other way, and only one guy walked that way, and he stopped, and he's chatting up Matthew Stafford for a good solid 90 seconds. I'm like, I would love to know what they're saying to one another.
There's also like a clip of I think it's a Dolphins lineman, and he's like, ref, a bunch. Like there's stuff like that where you see the guys have a little personality. That's always fun.
The Eagles were 4 for 4 with the brotherly shove last night. They are now 41 of 44 on that play. I've changed my tune on it. I thought that for a second. It's like, okay, you got to get rid of this. Here's why you don't. They're the only ones that can do it. They've cracked the NFL code. The other 31 teams have not done it until it becomes automatic for all of the teams, and now a first down is really only 8.5 yards. Philly's just got an advantage that they should not have to give back by a rule change.
I didn't really pay too close attention. I knew what was going on, but when they played the Rams, watching that game, like, that might be the greatest play call in crunch when you need it most. You only need a yard and a half.
Stop it.
It's actually funny. Towards the end of the game, do you remember, I think they're trying to run clock, and it was like 2 yards away.
Yeah, too far.
Wouldn't work.
It's too far.
It was the 1 yarder.
The NFL London games are done for the year. I believe there's 2 Germany games coming up later in the season.
Have one of them.
Maurice Jones-Drew was on the pregame show with us yesterday, and he just got back. He was covering some of those London games, and we were talking about, I asked him, do you think we're going to see a time where there's a team headquartered in London? And he said, probably not one, but what you might see is a division overseas somewhere where there's 4 teams. I'm kind of on board with that. You're not going to move 4 American teams overseas because there aren't 4 bad markets in the NFL.
No, there isn't. Yeah.
But if you could put a team
he thinks
in
a whole division
a London, a Paris, a Madrid, or Barcelona, or whatever, maybe 2 in London, 2 in Paris. Munich. Like, you have a European division, and they play each other, and then you go over and play road trips over there. It could work. And for the first time ever, it would actually be kind of an international game that isn't just a game here or there.
That would be probably your only recipe to expand the game to make it truly international.
Yeah, outside of North America at least, where at least football's kind of
By the way,
common.
the flag football thing is going to be a big boost for the NFL too.
Can't wait.
Everybody is going to be training, trying to figure out. And I don't know Tyreek Hill said, "Oh, I'm going to do it."
Yeah.
I mean, he'd be unbelievable.
Let's go.
But I do think that growing the game internationally is one of the things that NFL owners want. And Shad Khan has talked about moving Jacksonville just straight up to London, and they would do really well there. It's long road trips, but
that's
do really
the thing.
well.
They do fine there, but they got to travel over here. And Kirk was telling me this too, that the idea of I need to work a player out. Like, for instance, if you're the Rams, I need a new kicker. Well, everybody's over here. I got to fly. I got to not yet, but we got to fly guys out for that.
TikTok, let's go.
Real quick, I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Upcoming flag football in the Olympics.
Yes.
You have the first pick in the. Let's assume they're doing it this summer.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson or Tyreek Hill?
Ooh. That's
right.
Very good piece of sound there.
Yeah.
I'll take Lamar.
I'll take Tyreek.
Yeah, I think Lamar can get a little bit of both.
But nobody can keep up with Tyreek.
No one can keep up with Lamar.
Yeah,
either.
nobody can keep up with Lamar. That's true. I don't think he'd make a bad choice.
But you don't need to necessarily. You can get passed by him. You just got to grab a flag. You don't have to bring him down. Which is going to be the big thing. Yeah.
But he can. He also just needs to make you miss by this much, and then he's gone.
By the way, that speed trying to grab a flag. I can't even grab when nobody's moving. I'm like having trouble.
Yeah, no,
grabbing the flag.
it's hard no matter what. Yeah,
you got to loop him around the belt so the first Velcro doesn't come off. You got to really give him a
good.
Not that I ever coached flag football and told my kids to wrap those flags. That definitely never happened. You know what we should do, Jorge? Some Supercross talk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles.
KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins.
Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
I just realized something.
What's that?
You say you go to. I knew you have season tickets to the Rams.
Yes.
I know you go a lot.
Yeah.
But you go to every game, more or less.
That's impressive.
More or less, yeah. I don't go to preseason, but more or
no,
less.
that
there,
doesn't
yeah.
count. I mean, nobody wants to go to preseason.
Yeah. No.
You never come by the pregame show.
I never do.
I just realized that
I don't even know where you guys are. I listened to you on my way in. I have no idea where you're located.
8 years that I have been doing this, you have not one time come by
you're in the tent
and just done a segment with us, kind of hang out with us.
Yeah, they're outside.
I did not know that.
We're on the south end of SoFi, right
Which
inside
is the big
gate.
park fountain area?
It's by the lake.
Okay,
we're on
by
that
the lake.
side of the stadium by the lake, right inside the gate. Right by the YouTube theater.
I'll definitely stop by.
That doesn't sound sincere.
Oh, no, I will. Next home game.
He's gonna send a text. You know, he sent a text on the day.
Any other day.
Yeah.
It was SC Notre Dame game where he's like, hey, that's too far. I'm not coming all the way that way, which, by the way, that's bad on a Saturday. If he's on the opposite side of the stadium, he's going to say, hey, this is too far.
But I have a feeling, I know where your seats are.
Yeah.
So you go right by us.
It's not far.
It's not far.
No, it's not. If I don't stop by at some point, that is definitely on me because I know exactly where you are now. It's not that far.
I'm waiting for you during the. Oh, I see Steve.
Okay.
Oh, I see Steve, and I just see Mace like putting his head down.
Did it ever occur to you to swing by?
No, never even.
Think so.
I didn't even know you were outside the stadium.
Where did you think we were?
I thought you were in the press box.
Booth.
Yeah. I thought you were in the booth upstairs
with the people.
Oh, I didn't realize you were with the
out
people.
there. They're very
Oh,
excited.
I'm glad. And then I know you're at Hollywood Park afterwards.
Afterwards, absolutely. Come by, have a drink, watch the
Eat,
game.
drink, play.
Eat, drink, and play.
Yeah.
Andrew Whitworth came by yesterday.
I heard.
That's a big dude. He looks great.
He is a big man. Yeah.
He looks great. So which was more disappointing, Saturday or Sunday?
Yes.
Yeah, both?
Yeah.
No, that's an easy answer.
Bergman will tell you. We had our little pre-show talk, and I was just pissed off the entire time. Everything Greg said, I was pissed off.
Angry.
I don't want to do that.
It's not that.
It's a stupid idea.
Yeah, that's a stupid idea. People are ridiculous.
The answer should be, if I were you, I think the answer is easy.
Really?
Yeah. Between Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
I think you got to be more upset at SC basically saying we are no longer in the conversation of anything interesting.
That's really disappointing. That's really disappointing. And the world has now shifted for Lincoln Riley.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, not necessarily fairly.
I agree with that.
Not necessarily fair. I mean, you know, it was if you looked at that game on Saturday, Caleb Williams did have the game in hand at one point, and if it weren't for that, Bear Alexander had a really rough game. But that 15 yards on that drive, he also had a roughing the quarterback earlier in the game. I mean, to me, that's coaching. You know, that is
discipline. It's discipline of making sure that your guys understand situational football, discipline of understanding, you know, that your hit is not more important than the team and all these things. I want to go back to something you said a second ago.
Yeah.
You said that they're no longer in it. I understand that at the beginning of the season, we thought they were in it.
Yes.
Because of Caleb Williams, because of SC.
Right.
Were they ever really in it? Like, once you start to see them play.
Yeah, I think teams get better over the course. Some teams
I agree
get
with you.
better
They
over
get
the course
had
of the
they
season.
looked a little rough around the edges in week one, not a big deal. As
Right.
long as we're getting incrementally better. They never really
Do you know
did.
when they were out of it? The Arizona game.
Yeah.
It
I
took
agree
me
with you, Al.
it took me that many games
I agree with you.
to say
I'll go back a week before. Even that when they gave up a boatload of points to Colorado.
You're not wrong on that, but if I'm just making a case, you're home against Arizona and it took you double overtime, whatever it was. It took you Arizona screwing up on not going
Multiple
for two
times.
and just saying, hey, that one to me was, wait, you haven't played a ranked school
You
yet.
were still sticking around?
Yeah, so to me, that was, if you're going to be competitive over the course of a season, you got to have one game like that.
Sure.
You got to have one game that you somehow pull out of the fire that looks like a disaster. And I thought that was that game. I didn't realize that Caleb Williams would fall apart at South Bend. And he literally did fall apart. It was not the defense, it was Caleb Williams. This particular game, Caleb Williams is missing, I think, Jordan Addison a lot.
Sure.
A lot. They do not have they did not successfully replace him. They went into the transfer portal. They got Dorian Singer from Arizona, who was the second leading receiver in the conference last year, and he has been a zero so far for USC.
I don't disagree, Mason. When you lose a first-round draft pick at a position, you're going to be missing that guy. I think
he made Caleb look really good last year.
He did, but Caleb is
Still
really good.
looks
I
great.
kind of go the other way. I think that they're asking Williams to do
everything
so much,
right?
That when he's even a little bit off, the whole thing breaks down.
I think. Hi, Momo.
Hey, what's going
Hey,
on?
Momo.
I think he
TV face today.
TV face.
Yeah,
I think he
And
does.
hair.
I think he does too much. I think he tries to do too much
By-
in a lot of cases.
Not
Zinging
by
the ball
design?
this way, zinging the ball that way, sidearm this, jump shot that. I mean, he's trying to
Interesting.
do all of those different things, which is increasing the degree of difficulty on his job.
But Mace, can I ask you this? You got the game on Saturday is a perfect example. You're down 2 touchdowns,
Yes.
28-14.
Yep.
You're in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
And this is kind of what Caleb Williams does. He takes over a game. He gets you back. He actually gives you a lead. You're up 32-1,
sure.
32-31. And then I thought those shots were perfect of him sitting on the sidelines of like, we're going to lose again.
I can't stop this.
Yeah, I can't. There's nothing more that I can do.
Part.
And SC is going to do whatever they do on defense. You're right about the penalty was awful. But then a field goal goes in. They get their second straight loss. They lose to Utah 4 times in a row. What more can the man do? Like, that's my only thing. I lean more with Trav on this. What more can you ask from a player?
Not much.
And I feel like he's delivering. It's not perfect, but he's delivering. But there's a lot of other pieces that are not delivering.
Well, you said something interesting, Mace, that the idea of Lincoln Riley being a little unfairly criticized, I think, is spot on. Because you got to go back to remember how bad it was with Clay Helton towards the end.
It was a grease fire,
It was awful. And
it was a mess.
And because they went from, hey, this is a mess, to, hey, we might backdoor a CFP in year 1, to you have a couple of losses and you're in the process of building this thing. If you would have just said, hey, listen, we're going to get a little bit better each year, they skipped like the first 10 steps. They jumped to the end of the line in year 1.
I think I got a plan for you.
Oh, you have a plan for me?
Plan.
Good.
I have a plan.
Bring on the plan.
So you are really good at giving this speech about overpromise, underpromise, overdeliver.
Yep.
So last year, essentially, they overpromised. They gave you so much last year that you're they're going to build on this. Caleb Williams is back. He's going to go back-to-back Heisman, the greatest quarterback ever.
Transfer portal, Lincoln Riley in his second year. Yep.
Now he doesn't talk to the media, right? I mean, he does like a little.
He does
something,
his little scrum, yeah.
But he doesn't really try to bond with anyone here in LA. That's like his MO. He's kind of got his compound down there in Orange County. You probably drive by there, Travis, right? And he's not trying to make any friends in the media with the way he treats them. But I think you might be the person who could get through to him, Mace. Because he won't see you as the media.
Really? Oh, he'll see me as just, what, a fan?
You're like radio guy.
Radio
You're
guy.
like fan guy.
Yeah, I'm fan
guy.
guy.
I bet you could actually give him some really good advice on how to handle this going forward.
What would you tell him?
I tell him, first of all, after a game, no matter if you win or you lose,
make your players available.
Your players should be available.
100%.
Yep. That, I think, is I think there's a little bit too much Mayberry in Lincoln Riley.
Is it
I'm going to ban a reporter, bristling at any sort of criticism.
This isn't Norman, Oklahoma. You don't have that kind of juice here.
Welcome to the big city.
Yeah.
Okay, but the whole
everybody talks, whether you want to or not. TMZ is going to stick a camera in your face.
Not making the players available. Okay, let's say they beat Washington in a couple weeks here.
Right.
So now you want to make them available because everything's all great and dandy.
Now you can go talk to
it
media.
It looks stupid too when you make them available.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
It does. It does. So that's one thing. One thing I would say is you do need a base of support in the media, and he's not been very good with the media.
Well, you need
far.
a base of support in the media, especially when you're not of that place.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
That he is a good football coach, and he's had a success in Oklahoma. He's had a good amount of success here, but it's only because they've had success. He has no goodwill because he's been good for a really long time,
right?
Or he's from the area, or he built this thing up. Like when Pete Carroll got here, everybody went, eh. And then it's like, wait, they're pretty good, but he had the goodwill of, A, Pete was very media friendly, and 2, it was this build into this thing, and he kept it open. He did have the parties.
And it's not even just the media. It's like your whole demeanor towards the city, like the connection with the city. Like everyone he brings in is just a transfer portal guy. There's no development of players that stay there. You're not building a program.
Is it Malachi Nelson, the quarterback?
Malachi Nelson,
because he's a local kid, you wonder if that doesn't change a little bit if he becomes the guy next year.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't think he's going to be the guy.
You think he'll transfer?
I think somebody's going to transfer in.
Mace, you think he'll be here?
He was one of the highest recruited guys in the country.
He was. I'm told that he's been a little
underwhelming.
Yeah.
Wow, look at you with your
Insider.
sources.
Got sources.
Insider.
Yeah.
See, he is media, Momo.
No, he goes to the games. He hears things in the stands.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
He does.
You got
I heard a lot about
Bob and Roel's got some good information.
Dude was hammered, but you should have heard what he said. We were having.
Speaking of hammered, Steeler fans, well done, man.
Oh, yeah.
You guys, they were drunk. They were rowdy. They were. I think that was the most aggressive crowd we've had.
Okay, just real quick.
He said top three.
He said top three.
There's one other group of people that I think would give him a run for their money. We saw him last year. Bills Mafia.
Oh, Bills were
when the Bills came in last year, it was opening night. It was Thursday night. It's like, whoa.
But there's something about those friggin' towels.
Yeah.
The towel.
Is that why the spot was so bad? Is that why the refs missed that?
Still first down.
The towels blinded them.
The towels. That was a terrible.
That was
call.
a terrible
By the way,
spot.
That was not interference on Witherspoon.
No, it wasn't. And it was interference.
That was 3rd and 7, right?
It was. And it was interference on the previous drive on Puka, and they didn't call that
Oh, right.
one.
The grab down on Puka. Yeah.
That would have been a first down to keep it going right there. There were 3 calls. All 3 went the wrong way if you're a Rams fan.
It's the towels.
It's the towels, and
100%
maybe
the towels.
we don't burn
it's towels.
timeouts in the third quarter every single week.
Right. Well, maybe we don't burn one. Yeah.
Every week.
Every week there's one in the first quarter and there's one in the third quarter.
Every week.
At some point, Stafford's late on the snap or whatever that is.
I don't think the play's coming in on time.
And McVay sprints to the ref and says, "Timeout."
Every week.
Timeout with 6 minutes left to go in the thrd quarter.
Oh,
or
that
the
would
first
have
half.
been so useful at the end of the game yesterday. So useful.
It was one of those calls that sometimes you get that scrum. It's like, I don't know if he made it or not. It's a big pile of bodies. Kenny Pickett was clearly short of it.
Yep.
The second the play ran, can't review
He
it.
fell, kneeled down.
Disaster.
Done.
Disaster.
Yeah.
You still sticking with
first down.
SC? I think that Rams thing was far worse because they tricked me into it. I thought that they were going to kind of hang around 9-8.
But they didn't have the expectation.
No, but that's why it's worse because they suckered me in.
So So are you calling it?
They're okay. They got 10 games left.
Yes.
They're going to have to win 6 of their final 10 to get to 9 wins.
6 to get to 9.
Okay.
So 6 and 4.
This is like a
6 and
backwards.
4.
This is like a stumble into a tank.
Well, no, they're not.
They're not bad enough to tank.
The NFC is also so bad.
Who's got the worst record? Right? Is there anyone?
Carolina, but they don't have their pick. So I think Chicago
Chicago's
gets their
got
pick.
Carolina's
They won
pick.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Beat my Raiders.
Yeah.
Well,
But
Raiders do
I mean,
suck,
they'd have
don't
to almost lose the rest of the way, and they're not bad enough to do that.
No.
They're going to go 4-6 or 5-5. I really think that's what it is, and that
They'll
leaves
end up
you
with
at
8
7 and
wins
10 or 8 and 9.
So where do you have them? You have them losing at Dallas, winning at Green Bay. How do you?
I don't think they're going to win either one of those.
I think they beat.
You don't think either one? I think they're going to
Green Bay.
I think they're going to steal the Green Bay game.
Yeah, at Green Bay
they
can win.
never play well there. Here's where they're going to
Green
beat
Bay's
New
not
Orleans.
good.
They're going to beat the Commanders. They're going to beat the Giants. Those are the 3 I feel pretty decent about.
So they need 3 more wins.
You got Arizona on the road.
Okay,
so there's
I'll take
one.
that, 4.
Okay. So now you got to find 2 more. Seattle,
Yeah.
Dallas, Green Bay, Cleveland, Ravens.
Yeah, Green Bay and Cleveland are your only 2 games you got a shot at.
Green Bay, you got a shot at.
Cleveland, you saw what the
Cleveland's
Steelers
kinda
just did.
good.
Them Cleveland's, as long as if their quarterback plays even mid, they're tough
By
to
the way,
beat.
the craziest thing of the entire weekend, I think, of all the little video clips I saw on Twitter and what I saw, it was Myles Garrett
Jumping over the line?
to block that kick.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an unbelievable play.
You obviously did not see the video of me playing die at the San Diego
No,
State
I heard.
Parents Weekend.
Now, were you? I heard you were terrible at that.
It wasn't very good.
I don't even understand the game. You throw it up in the air and then you catch it.
I had never heard of it
So
until this.
I'll try a quick primer.
Okay.
You and I are teammates. Momo and Al are
Got
teammates.
it.
Okay, so draw a line in the middle of the table.
Okay.
You
Draw
have a
line.
die, I have a die.
Okay.
One at a time. I throw my die as high as I can or as high as I want, and I need it to land on their side of the table and then fall off and hit the ground.
Okay.
That
You
gives
got to
us-
try to
like the
catch
opposite
it
of
off the
quarters.
table.
And they're
trying to catch it,
goes
and
off
then
the
we go
table.
back and
Yeah.
forth.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And it's because it's a cube, so it takes all these crazy hops when
Right.
it hits the ground.
Oh,
It's
okay.
much harder
So
to
it
catch
is a
than
drinking
you think.
game?
Yes. You play with one hand. If I throw my die into your cup, you got to. There's some elements to it.
Yeah.
It's a reason to be in the backyard and drink a little bit.
Yeah. No,
We're going to do that
I'm usually
tournament.
very good at.
I was good at quarters. Quarters was my
okay. Yeah.
college game. Yeah.
We're eliminating
this one off
pickleball
the
this
nose?
year.
Did you
No,
ever
I
get
never
that?
did off the
Yeah.
nose. No, and God knows I could.
I was going to say you
Yeah,
could
this is
be
a-
a
this
too
is
big of a
ski jump
bounce
right here.
Super Crosstalk is brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out, that's what a hamburger is all about.